is a presentation of Sports South.
Georgia Southern head coach Tim Stowers hopes that Joe Dupree can energize the Eagle offense. But on defense, there's been no power shortage for the Eagles. Jerry Moore's Mountaineers look to get things rolling, and they will rely on a big play back named Chip Hooks, who can take it all the way. Today, it's Georgia Southern and Appalachian on Sports South. Live from Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina, Sports South presents Southern Conference football. Today, it's the Mountaineers of Appalachian playing host to Georgia Southern. Hi again, everybody. I'm Kevin Eschenfelder along with Jeff Van Note on an absolutely magnificent fall afternoon. Jeff, let's talk about these two teams. Appalachian comes in with a 1-5 record. You never know what to expect from a 1-5 team. And Georgia Southern, on the other hand, comes in playing good football right now. Let's first talk about Georgia Southern. And when we talk about Georgia Southern, Alex Mash on the defensive side, Joe Dupree on offense.
Alex Mash, preseason Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's lived up to that billing this part of the season. And for Joe Dupree, he wrestled the starting job away from Charles Bostic before the season after spring practice, and it has been a little bit up and down. He has got to take control of that offense.
On the other side, Brent David, the middle linebacker, is the key to the defense for the Mountaineers, and Chip Hooks is going to have to get it done as far as offensively.
Jerry Moore, the head coach of Appalachian State, says that their defense dresses in Brent David's locker. He's a sideline-to-sideline tacker. He's got to play this flex bone offense of Georgia Southern. He's a big key for it. Chip Hooks is a quick little tailback, and the Appalachian State coaches feel like if he gets better than 100 yards, they've got a real good chance of winning.
Okay, let's talk about the keys to this ball game first. Let's go with Georgia Southern.
Well, for Georgia Southern, their offense has got to produce. Their defense has been playing great all season long. It's kept them in there. It's time for their offense to carry a little bit more of the load. Dupree, we said, he's got to start taking charge of this football team. I think the team is looking for leadership from him at that offensive spot, and they've got to keep that plus 12 turnover ratio they're getting. They do a great job of blocking punts and blocking field goals and extra points. On the other hand, you look at Appalachian State. If we want to talk about the punting, that's something that's happened to them. They've had 5 blocks. They've got to take better care of it. They've got to have a better start in these games. This game today, it's important for them to get out the gate real quick. They need to improve their passing. Less than 50% completion ratio. If you're going to throw less than that, you don't have a chance to come from behind, or you don't have a chance maybe to convert third down.
All right, we'll have the kickoff when we come back to Boone, North Carolina, next on Sports South.
We have
Comes out onto the field. A beautiful afternoon for football here in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian coming in 1-5 on the season. It's been a very disappointing year so far for Jerry Moore. Now let's go down onto the field. Sideline reporter Mark Martin. Mark.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Great to be with you and Jeff this afternoon here in beautiful Boone. And for Jerry Moore and his Appalachian State Mountaineers, they know simply that they're out of the conference race, but they could play a spoiler. What better place to start here this afternoon than against the current first-place team, Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern, their first year in the league, and they want to come away with the championship and subsequently go into the 1AA playoffs. But this is not an easy place to win. Since 1985, Appalachian State has a record of 23-4-1 against Southern Conference opponents. We'll see how Georgia Southern shapes up here this afternoon against that record. Again, great to be with you guys this afternoon. Have a good broadcast. We'll see you a bit later on.
All right, thanks, Mark. Well, Appalachian won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. So they will kick it away, and we'll see a potent offense go on attack first for Georgia Southern, although as of the last couple of weeks, it has been struggling. You see what they have done overall throughout the entire season coming into tonight's game. And the rushing right there, almost 200 more yards for Georgia Southern. They're not a team that's going to put it up in the air a whole lot. That's Alan Gwynn, a freshman from Laurinburg, North Carolina, with it teed up at the 35-yard line. And he will get set to kick it away to Chris Wright, who stands in a single safety back at the goal line. And we're underway from Boone, North Carolina. Chris Wright from the goal line. Oh, and Wright is stuck at the 20-yard line. Brian Wozni came through. Wozni, a freshman from Mooresville, North Carolina. And if Wozni had not hit him, there was a huge lane to run through, but he took care of business.
Chris Wright, outstanding speed. I saw him return a kickoff against Furman last year in the second half. They got Georgia Southern jump-started. You're right, though, Kevin. That was a big hole if Wozny's not there.
And there's Joe Dupree. You see the numbers on him. He won't throw it a whole lot. He's only thrown for 300 yards. But this is what they will do is they pitch it back to Chris Wright. And Wright gets up to the 26-yard line, counted off at 6 on the first play of the game. They'll go option left, option right, any kind of option you can think of. Georgia Southern will run it.
They like to get the ball outside lately, too. Originally, they started more inside with their big fullback, James Williams, Tyrone Stevens sometimes, but they've been getting it to Shafton, Fraley, and Wright wide, and that's something I'm sure that's got Appalachian State concerned to cover the whole field.
The ball out to the 25-yard line brings up 2nd down and 5. On the opening drive of the game, they go with quick hitter right up the middle. James Williams falls ahead for a gain of a couple. That defensive front up front for Appalachian in to make the stop. Jason Hatcher led the way, the freshman from Clearwater, Florida, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down situation. Talked about Appalachian getting off to a quick start, but we take a look at Georgia Southern in the offensive line. The anchor in the middle, Robert Moore. Ayub is making his 43rd straight start. Backs and receivers, all of them very, very dangerous. Darren Willis and Dawson on the outside. So 3rd down for Georgia Southern. Again, the option. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Appalachian defense is there to make the stop. It's Larry Dennis, the outside linebacker, in to knock Georgia Southern running back Marlo Warthen off his feet. Now punt time for Georgia Southern.
Well, you can see right there where James Williams unable to get the block on Kenny Bright and allows time for that inside linebacker, their fine inside linebacker, Brent Davey, to come inside out.
Don Blue back deep to field this punt. Beautiful high spiral. And Don Blue from the 32. Boy, Don Blue had nowhere to go. There were Eagles all over. Derek Austin, the first man to get down after a punt of 42 yards. No return. But we're scoreless in Boone, North Carolina. We'll be back in just a moment. Back to Boone, North Carolina. We're scoreless. Appalachian going on offense for the first time. I think it was important for the Appalachian defense to get a big stop on 3rd down. 3 plays and punt for Georgia Southern.
Well, it sets a tone for their defense the rest of the day. They know now that they can play that option as long as they play assignment-free football. No mistakes, and everybody's where they're supposed to be.
There you saw Scott Satterfield, and they'll go from the I. On 1st down, Chip Hooks, and Hooks goes ahead for a couple, maybe up to the 35-yard line. The offensive line for Appalachian State is a very big offensive line. They're going to give up about 25 pounds a man as far as being heavier than the Georgia Southern defensive line. And Gruber, the anchor in the middle, and then in the backs and receivers, Scott Satterfield getting the start. Then it's Hooks, Gamma on the outside along with Don Blue. So 2nd down and 8. They're going to throw it on 2nd down. Has a man over the middle, and it's complete to Don Blue. And Don Blue is out over the 40-yard line, out to the 42. Scott Davis with the tackle. Blue just a step away from turning that one into a 1st down play.
You look at Appalachian State here. They go to 3 wides, and they clear out, running Gamma down the middle, and also number 84, Greg Thomas. I'm sorry, that was Kevin Burton running down the middle and clearing it out, letting Blue work underneath. Good approach to their offense. They need to get something established with that passing early.
3rd down and 2. And we'll see if it's enough for a 1st down. It's going to be very close. It was Smith on the carry. The big fullback, the junior from Immokalee, Florida. It is a 1st down. talked about the great start so far. It's been a pretty good start for the Mountaineers, coming in at 1-5.
Well, this is what you want. Your offense and defensive teams to feel settled here at home, not making any mistakes early, move the chains a little bit. Not necessarily they have to score, but keep field position in perspective.
Chip Hooks looking for an opening, nothing doing, maybe a gain of a couple. Very strong in pursuit is the Georgia Southern defense. Charlie Burt led the way, a junior from Winter Haven, Florida, led that defense. Now this defense is really what Georgia Southern has been hanging their hat on all season long, because their offense has not been that productive.
You see it there, both pulling both guards, trying the old Green Bay sweep, USC power sweep, whatever you want to call it. And Georgia Southern uses their great quickness to get their people over there.
You see the linebackers very, very active. 2nd down and 8. Hooks up. They keep it on the play action. Satterfield with a big gainer inside the 35-yard line to the 34. That was a great play action fake, because he had me going.
It was all a fake in the backfield, and everybody was going for the running back. Look, you can see Georgia Southern all jump in on, I guess that's Smith, the fullback. I did not see who the number was, but Satterfield, nice fake. And look at the block. You don't see it at the top of your screen. It's by Vollmer, the tight end, doing a good job on Scott Davis, number 55, the outside linebacker. Picks up an extra 8 or 9 yards from that block alone.
It was a gain of 26 for Scott Satterfield. Now they hand it off. This is Hooks, and Hooks will go down at the 33-yard line. So a little razzle-dazzle. We were told to expect that early. You know, a team comes in 1-5. You really don't know what to look for, but you know they've got to get something to get things going.
Coach Jerry Moore's got his team at least sized up to keep Georgia Southern maybe a little bit off balance. Look at the change of formations. You're seeing 1 back. You're seeing 2 back. They're bringing the tight end in. They're playing all wides with no tight ends as they are in this formation, and 2 backs. Really changing up the looks against this Georgia Southern defense.
Again from the eye, 2nd down and short. Chip Hooks again gets outside, inside the 20, and down at the 15-yard line. And Appalachian knocking off huge chunks of real estate on this first drive. Nick Davis, a senior from Griffin, Georgia, finally made the stop.
Chip Hooks out of Decatur, Georgia, has got 2,500 yards of rushing in his career here. Nice block by Brad Orth, the right tackle, on Michael Morris, 91, the left defensive end. And then it's Hooks. He's got great speed. He doesn't have the size, 5'7", 155. He's got to use that speed of his and change of direction to make some of these big guys miss.
Appalachian inside the 15. First man, Johnny Smith, goes ahead for a couple. That's one of those plays just to keep the defense honest. He gets down near the 11-yard line.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, you're right. A lot of teams do that. It's like you think of it sometimes as a give-up play, because rarely does it hit for the big distance. And I think when you get down inside the 10 or 15-yard line, though, that's when your play selection has got to be of the utmost importance. And maybe this is the time to try a little bit of a trick play, especially on 1st down or a pass on 1st down.
We got 3 wideouts you see to the top of the screen on 2nd down and 8. Here comes the reverse. Inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Kevin Burton was run out of bounds by Rob Stockton. Burton, a freshman from Columbia, South Carolina. He's caught the ball 9 times, but this time he gets a chance to run.
Look at Rob Stockton. He's beating right in on Burton. He smelled that play out right at the start of it. Charlie Burt, the left defensive end, number 57, doing a pretty good job himself. He doesn't have the speed maybe to catch Kevin Burton, but he didn't allow the cutback inside, so Rob Stockton could have the inside-out tackle.
So 3rd down and 2. From the 6-yard line, Chip Hooks doesn't have the 1st down. Boy, he has met rudely. Leading the way is Paul Carroll. Nick Davis also in. It wasn't so much the first guys up front doing the job, but the linebackers filling the holes.
And then we go back to that very 1st down play where they almost wasted a down in there. And you resort to now having to just settle for 3 points instead of maybe getting the 7. Nice job by Paul Carroll. We weren't expecting him to play today. He's been bothered by a neck injury. Back in there at middle linebacker.
Here's Kyler Ferguson to try a field goal. And he is perfect. So for the first time this year, the Mountaineers of Appalachian have scored in the 1st quarter. We'll be back to Boone, North Carolina in just a moment.
The Wildcats bear down on the Cardinal.
For some real food, South Carolina, smiling faces, beautiful places, and U.S. Air, the official airline of the Southern Conference. U.S. Air begins with you.
Probably me. Getting even with me, aren't you?
Georgia Southern to receive it. This is Chris Wright. Wright from the 5-yard line. And Wright gets out to the 26, where Georgia Southern will go on offense there. As I said before we went to the break, that's the first time Appalachian has scored this season in the first quarter. We talked about them getting off to a great start. They have so far.
Well, just on the basis of the two series, you know, Appalachian State's got to feel good where they are right now. Georgia Southern usually outscores their opponents about 2-1 in the first quarter. We'll have to see how this quarter ends, but they have yet to get their offense cranked on that first series.
Joe Dupree under center. Dupree on the option. Back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe a gain of 1. Hatcher, the first guy to get to him for Appalachian. Also Kevin Sikorsky in on the stop for the Mountaineers.
You got a great middle linebacker as this Brent David is. You'll see a lot of times they'll change it up some, but a lot of times they'll pinch all their linemen in, allow David to do the scraping. Also Dexter Coakley, a young freshman, 32. He can fly for an inside linebacker, only 5'11", 190. Brent David Moore, the true size of a linebacker, 6'1", 235. But you watch David move. They want him to make most of the tackles.
So 2nd down and 8 for Georgia Southern. Dupree to throw it for the first time. Has his man and picked off. Brent David. David's not finished. It'll take 11 men to take him down to the 25-yard line. An 18-yard return.
We're talking to Coach Tim Stowers before the game today. They talked about Joe Dupree's passing, and he says the long passes, he's doing all right. He's having some success on. Very short passes he is too. The intermediate routes, which this was one, is what gives him trouble. This case, though, it's Darren Willis tipping the ball in the air. There's a catch maybe a little bit out in front of him, but he could have had it. And then David runs like a fullback afterwards.
Well, I mean, a big-time fullback. And that was one, really, I think Darren Willis should have brought in. Kind of short-armed that one. So Appalachian with another golden opportunity. Satterfield to throw. A lot of time, and this one incomplete and should have been picked off. Should have been answered right there by Georgia Southern. Nick Davis, senior from Griffin, Georgia, looked like the intended receiver on that one.
Satterfield was hoping that the linebackers would drop deep as he ran his wideouts. Gammon blew down deep, and Vollmer slipping out a little bit late. Nick Davis wasn't fooled. It wasn't a very good pass, though.
2nd down and 10. Satterfield will keep it himself. Drugged down by Rob Stockton after a gain of 13 yards.
Well, just tremendous blocking by by Appalachian State on the corners out here. You watch them on the corners here. You see their fullback Jimmy Smith throwing at 55, Scott Davis. He then options on Sean Austin and is able to pick up the yardage, but they sealed it inside with their offensive line. Got a nice block out of their fullback Jimmy Smith on Scott Davis.
So 1st down and 10 from the 12-yard line. Johnny Smith up the middle, gets it down to the 10-yard line. Interior line, Alex Mash and Walter Flowers leading the way for Georgia Southern.
We're 2 series into the game. That's the first time we've made mention of Alex Mash. That is unusual.
And that was on a fullback dive where they were just coming right at him. You're right. They have been keeping him quiet in the early going. 3-0 Appalachian. Leads it early in the first quarter, make it midway through the first quarter. And another golden opportunity here after the interception. This is going to cost Appalachian 5 yards. John McFall, a junior from Rayford, North Carolina, went on 1, and I think the play was on 2.
You look at that left side of the Appalachian State offensive line. Start from the center. Groover, 6'6", 275. Cadlup is about 6 foot, 285. And they're starting Derek Spencer instead of Derek Farkas in there today. Farkas was in there. He's 6'9", 357. Some phenomenal size over there going against Alex Mash, who's about a 255-pound man himself, but that is an awful lot of size, and they've been running left.
2nd down and 12. Hooks on the delay. If Hooks can get outside, nothing doing. Francis Williams came up from the cornerback spot. Also Michael Morris coming from the interior line. Morris, a junior from Adel, Georgia. And Brannis Williams, a sophomore from Baxley, Georgia.
It's the strength of Georgia Southern, their D-line, except Walter Flowers getting his first start today. A true freshman, 5'11", 261 out of Savannah, number 95. He gets a good look at what he can do along with a veteran player.
Line to make is the 2-yard line. Gamma over the middle, make it Don Blue. He can't hold on. Well, Don Blue had some real estate to run, but wasn't able to hang on to the football, so they'll call on Kyler Ferguson to try his 2nd field goal of the afternoon.
Just a pass to make sure you don't make any mistakes down here. They're settling for the field goal. 3rd and about 12. That was long yardage, and they haven't thrown the long ball yet. Everything has been underneath.
So Kyler Ferguson, well within his range. A 31-yard attempt is good, but let's check the marker.
Didn't see it. It's against Georgia Southern, but they're going to let those points stand. It's only 5 yards here. Well, they're going to let them stand anyway. They're not going to take them off down here.
Yeah, it's offsides as Ron Buckner gives us the call. Southern Conference referee.
Offside. Defense declined. Field goal's good.
So the field goal stands. The cannon sounds and the scoreboard moves to 6-0. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back to Boone, North Carolina in just a moment.
The cannon located beneath their feet.
You know how fast.
A big crowd is on hand, and they have liked what they have seen thus far here in Boone, North Carolina, as their Mountaineers lead it by a score of 6-0. And so far, they've been able to take advantage of the mistakes from Georgia Southern, creating a few of their own as well. Brent David with the INT earlier that really set up that 2nd field goal. Alan Gwynn will kick it away. This one will take Chris Wright, and he will take a knee 7 yards deep in the end zone. So it's been all Appalachian State so far. Georgia Southern's got to get something going. They got to be talking to themselves offensively right now. They've got to get something going on the offensive side of the football.
Well, you talk to their staff, and they wanted their team to come out and play good on the road. That's one of the things it has not done. It goes back 5 games, and their staff talks about their best road game was last year, their opener against Furman. And so they just have not played well on the road, not this year against Marshall in that loss, and they need to get it cranked up. But you can't panic. You got to stay with your offense.
They hand it off straight up the middle goes James Williams. Williams, a senior from Thomasville, Georgia, who's rushed for about 330 yards coming into today's game. Averages right at 4.5 yards a carry. He takes it ahead for 2 or 3. So it'll bring up a 2nd down and 7.
Williams fought off the challenge of young Tyrone Stevens, a junior, in the spring and early in this season. And he's established himself as the starting fullback. He's a man to give it to.
Dupree will option. Pitch it back again, and this time short of the 1st down, but it's going to bring up a 3rd down and short. Good pursuit, that time by Appalachian's defensive front, but Marlo Warthen was able to get around the corner.
Just a little bit of a change up maybe in the blocking scheme. They're bringing the backside guard, Isaac Farrell, and they've started Franklin Stevens at center now, and Isaac Farrell's got to come all the way around and pick up that linebacker. This is Brent David. That is a difficult thing to ask him because of Brent David's speed and quickness and recognition getting outside.
3rd down and 3. Georgia Southern. Williams has the 1st down, stepped out of bounds has the 1st down by about a half a yard, and had he not picked it up that time, that'd have been 3 straight 3-plays and punts for Georgia Southern, but now they will have it for at least 3 more plays.
And they come back at the left side again. Quentin King and not a very big man playing this outside backer, 6'2", 192 pounds, but great job by Joe Dupree to seal Quentin King, make him honor him, and then make the pitch. Just nice timing, and that's what you got to do with this option offense. The quarterback's got to make the right decisions.
Dupree's a junior. He's been there before. And he's going to try to throw it. Looking for the big play, wide open and can't hold on. At the 35-yard line is Chris Wright. Boy, I tell you what, if that one had been on the money, it'd be 7-6 right now.
Well, you can see how many men that Appalachian State is committing to the run. You've got the safety up there. Matt Stevens is up looking for the run, trying to help out. Chris Wright is wide open. He would still be running if the ball is not just a little bit overthrown.
Yeah, Tim Stowers will be sending the extra point team one right now. And that's another thing you have to think about, too. Appalachian has really dominated this entire first half, but they've gotten 2 scores, but they've been 2 field goals. They're touchdown away from making this a whole totally different ball game. What a great play on the outside. Jamie Coleman, the sophomore from Laurinburg, North Carolina, stepped up from his cornerback spot and took Chris Wright down.
Kind of a naked screen. They're blocking downfield. I think it's Dexter Dawson is blocking downfield as the split end, but the recognition by Coleman, he doesn't have anybody blocking him, and they're going to ask Chris Wright to make him miss, catch that ball and make a move and make him miss. He's unable to do it.
That's gutsy for a cornerback who just saw a wide receiver get behind them like that to be playing that tight, but he was. This is Dupree, and Dupree is going to be well short of the first down, and Georgia Southern is going to have to putt.
Offense like this, it'll stutter and sputter along a lot if you don't make positive plays almost every time. And when you get a screen play like that thrown for your loss, you're not going to get it.
So Bill Thatcher will come in and kick it away. And a well-deserved round of applause as that defense comes off the field for Appalachian. So Thatcher kicks it away. Don Blue will field it. And Blue goes for a return of 3 yards. The special teams look very good right now for Georgia Southern. 40-yard punt, a 3-yard return, and Appalachian will go back on offense where they've pretty much been all afternoon. The offense has been on the field. Georgia Southern's defense has got to be getting tired here pretty soon.
Well, the thing about, as you just mentioned a minute ago, Kevin, just being up 6-0, you're just one play away from being ahead in a game like this. And with your special teams and your defense and your offense, you've got 3 different areas to score. That's why Georgia Southern has been scoring.
So from the 33-yard line, leading 6-0, Appalachian will scrimmage. That one thrown away. Somebody didn't get the right read, and it was between Ray Gamma and Don Blue. Somebody was supposed to do an out, and nobody did.
Well, Don Blue and Ray Gamma both talking to each other, and I'm sure they're talking to Scott Satterfield. He's waving one way, they're waving another, and just a miscommunication. He wanted the out, and it was there if somebody had made the break.
Satterfield is making his 2nd straight start. They've had 3 quarterbacks each start 2 games for Appalachian. That's a team really looking for an identity. You know, you've got 2 guys or 3 guys, and each of them get 2 starts in 6 games. This is Chip Hooks, and Hooks has the first down, slicing through out near the 45-yard line, a gain of 11 yards before Scott Davis made the tackle, a junior from Powder Springs, Georgia.
You watch the left side of that offensive line come off the ball. On Alex Mash, the double team inside there, and a great job on that left side. The big Farkas, the big tackle is in there. Cadlip is in there. Groover, the center. Bulmer, they did a nice job of coming off on Georgia Southern. Like a wave.
Satterfield being pressured. Satterfield's got a lot of room to run. Has the first down and steps out of bounds at the 39-yard line after picking up 16 yards. And he was escorted step for step by Edward Thomas, but Thomas just couldn't catch him.
Well, you don't see this very often. Alex Mash is back there for a sack, as is Lee Brooks. Both have a shot at Satterfield. He's able to escape him. He wanted to go with a deep ball. Georgia Southern applying pretty good pressure, first by Paul Carroll, but you don't see Alex Mash miss many sacks. He's got 7 on the year already.
Defensively, it has to be very discouraging because you do a good job in coverage. You do a good job putting pressure on the quarterback, but he steps through and picks up 16. Satterfield again on the option will cut it up. Oh, they say never leave your feet, and that is why. Satterfield hurdles down to the 35-yard line, but he's going to be a little shaky getting up.
He's been impressive, though, in this first quarter. I mean, he's taken charge of this game. Simple, a quarterback rollout. There is an option there if he wants it. He just sees something, though. He gets a nice block on Charlie Burt from his fullback, Jimmy Smith, decides to take it up top. And as you said, that's a wrong decision a lot of times for a quarterback.
Nick Davis helped him, turned end over end there. So 2nd down and 5. Satterfield flags down. Satterfield looking at and throwing. It's incomplete, out of bounds. Kevin Burton probably wasn't able to get both feet down, but let's check the penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage.
Flag came out a little bit late after the play had started.
But it's an illegal shift against Appalachian. Boy, that did come out awful late, didn't it?
Must have seen it and held it for a little longer.
There's Jerry Moore in his 5th season, 31 wins, 22 losses here in Appalachian. He's never coached against Georgia Southern.
He was a real fine receiver himself for Baylor back in the 60s. And
on the offense.
you think of coaches who go on to be head coach or coaches, and you think they'd want to put that kind of offense in that they were successful in, as Tim Stowers, an offensive lineman, kind of likes the running game.
Jerry Moore came here after being a head coach at the University of North Texas, or back at that time it was North Texas State. Now it's the University of North Texas. Also coached in the Southwest Conference at Texas Tech. So Satterfield and company from the 40-yard line after the 5-yard mark off. On 2nd down, they look to set up the screen. Here's Hooks, and Hooks is drugged down at the 45-yard line. But Nick Davis would not go for it at all. The play was slow developing, but the screen never really got there.
No, he took too long setting it up. A screen is a timing play. You're going to get one lineman out in front of you maybe, but you've got like 1,001, 1,002, 1,003 count. Everybody's working on a timing play. He took a long time looking downfield, allowed the defense a lot of time to react to it. If Nick Davis doesn't make the play, they've got someone else over in the same area. I'm not sure who it was, but I think the cornerback was over there.
Third and 15 for Don Blue, intercepted, and no, it was dropped. It hit the ground. I'll tell you what, Darius Dawson would like to have that one back because it hit him right in the 5 on the front of the jersey.
Yeah, Alex Smash, watch him inside. He jumps between the center and guard gap. I think that's Farkas trying to block on him, and you see the ball having maybe to be released a little bit early, but you got to pull those in if you got any kind of hand on him at all.
Well, Will Burkett, who has had his problems this season, will punt it away. High snap. Burkett will try to get rid of it, and does. But this is going to be a big-time play for Georgia Southern. Now coming in, Burkett had 5 punts blocked. On the other side, Georgia Southern had blocked 4 punts. Well, that time we didn't get the block, but all kinds of problems for Appalachian special teams. That has killed them all season long.
Well, it's the snap of the football, and this one is over his head. He doesn't really have a chance to get it. You got to remember that this team had an All-American punter, Harold Alexander, now playing for the Atlanta Falcons, a great punter, and they've changed punters, and this fellow's had his. This fellow really has had his problems with the different punt snappers, and they just haven't been able to get into sync at all in their punt game.
Stuart Dixon was the center who sent it over the head of Will Burkett.
Offensive lineman cannot touch that football, and I think Will needs to be schooled a little bit on what to happen in a situation like that if you're ever faced with it.
Illegal touching against the offense, that's decline. Illegal pass against the offense, that's loss of down. 5-yard spot of the play. Okay.
Talk about Appalachia State's punting and special teams. The special teams have been a real strength for this Georgia Southern team.
Well, the scoreboard reads zeros. The Mountaineers lead it 6-0. 1 quarter down. We'll be back for the second quarter in just a moment on Sports South. Appalachian special teams have been anything but special. Take a look at it.
Well, he does a great job, Burkett, knocking the ball down, maybe not letting go to the end of the end zone. It was a pretty good whip on the ball, but then his judgment of just throwing the ball forward, and an offensive lineman, heck, number 67 or a linebacker, he loves just to get his hands on the football. He's going to catch it. That was Jason Tyndall from Apex, North Carolina. Joe Dupree gets down to the 12-yard line, so great field position for Georgia Southern. So the breaks finally go back the other way. Now Georgia Southern finally catches a break. Down on the field, yeah, is Hatcher. Jason Hatcher, a freshman from Clearwater, Florida. Well, I saw Joe Dupree earlier this year playing against Citadel. He had about a 53-yard run in that game. Had a nice game as far as rushing, and does a good job with the football, but not maybe consistent enough as far as it hasn't really come together for him yet. There's Jerry Moore, got to be talking to himself, thinking, why can't we get the punt team down? Well, you look at Jerry Moore's had a lot of success here in the Southern Conference. His teams, have been top 4 finishers the last 4 years. They were in the playoffs last year. Appalachian State has got a proud tradition in the Southern Conference of being very successful. But when you turn over 24 lettermen, and 12 of them played more than 20 games in their career, 9 of them started a lot more than that. They were 4-year lettermen, 12 of them, and 9 of them started more than 20 games. You lose people like that. You lose your 4-year starting quarterback, a guy that started 47 games for you, and you get a couple of injuries. It looks like Vincent Fraley is not going to play today. He's normally one of the starting defensive linemen. Now his replacement, and they're playing a little bit of different defense, a 3-4 instead of a 4-man line. Hatcher looks like he's injured right now. They've had a number of injuries. They have a very young football team. They've turned over a lot of people. They really haven't. It's been the turnover has been a part of I guess that's one of the parts of success. Whenever you get a veteran team together and you have a good year, well, the next year you're going to have to do some rebuilding, and that's exactly what Appalachian is having to do today, or to do this year. Yeah, they've had some success here. They've challenged for this Southern Conference an awful lot. Finished ranked number 16 last year. I think preseason people thought that they were going to be much better. They just have not really got consistent on offense until maybe the last 3 games. They started cranking out some big-time yardage with their offense, and their defense has been led by those 2 inside linebackers, Brent David and Dexter Coakley. Well, at 1-5. Appalachian has lost to North Carolina A&T. They've lost to Liberty, Wake Forest, and last week they lost to Furman. You see the series history. Now, before 1987, the last meeting between these two teams was 1939. The first meeting, of course, in 1932. That was in the first round of the NCAA Division I AA playoffs. And as we touched a little bit earlier on it, a huge storm came in on Friday night, the night before that game. Temperatures were at 10 below 0 when this game started. This is the kind of weather that can happen in Boone, North Carolina, as we were way up in the mountains of North Carolina. Temperatures never got above 10 degrees that afternoon. Swarming defense for Appalachian. And back to that game, Irk Russell said he wanted to play that game, who was the head coach at Georgia Southern, said he wanted to play that game under protest because the conditions were that bad. Irk is a legend in Georgia football, legend in college football for that matter, winning 4 national titles. And you think of some of the coaches that come through Appalachian State. Mac Brown was here. Fisher DeBerry was here. Sparky Woods has been here. They have had their share of fine coaches along with Jerry Moore. Big third down for Georgia Southern offense. Dupree goes to the end zone, and it's picked off. Kenny Bright, the senior from Hamlet, North Carolina, gets it back for Appalachian. A lot of people around that football, and the least of them not Kenny Bright, as he puts himself in great position for a big interception. Joe Dupree trying to probably go to Dexter Dawson down here. And Kenny Bright is able to just kind of step in front of that football.
And not only you get the turnover there, that's what's so big, is the fact that you're really keeping a sure 3 points off the board with that interception.
Kind of negates the fact that you had a bad snap on your punt team.
Exactly. So that break just erased by Appalachian's defense, who has played very well. Chip Hooks goes ahead for maybe a couple as they bring the ball out to the 22-yard line. So everything has gone Appalachian's way. Even the mistakes that Appalachian has made, Georgia Southern has answered with a mistake of their own to even things out.
Once again, great pursuit by the Georgia Southern line, and you counter that maybe as Appalachian State did earlier with a reverse, with a counter, with something coming back to the wide side of the field.
Satterfield pitches it to Hooks, and a dangerous pitch. Hooks falls ahead to the 22-yard line, but Brandon Roselle, and I've seen this happen, people intercept an option pitch. Brandon Roselle was very close to doing that, number 20 for Georgia Southern. Watch 20 come into the picture.
Well, he fights off the block of the wide receiver, 82, Scott Yachties. Does a nice job. Well played by Sean Austin, but here Scott Yachties is unable to block Brandon Roselle, so he takes on two responsibilities. Not only does he get rid of the block, but he's also there to pick up the pitch man. And you're right, he could have maybe reacted. If that block was a little bit less, he might have gotten there a step sooner and taken it all the way.
Appalachian facing 3rd down and 8. Satterfield will be short of the first down as he's run down at the 27-yard line. So it's been an adventure, but we'll see it happen again as it's punt time for Appalachian.
And I didn't see who was punt snapping on that very first one.
Well, they were working on it on the sidelines over here. And it's Danny Bentley now in to do the deep snapping, and this is a good snap. And almost blocked. Nice high punt taken by Dawson. And Dawson breaks away out near midfield, out to the 48-yard line. Jeff Vollmer saved the touchdown. Second quarter, our score. A Mountaineers 6, Georgia Southern Eagles nothing. We'll be back to Boone in just a moment.
You're watching Sports South Network.
That'll give you an idea of how beautiful it is here in Boone, North Carolina. This is the peak weekend of the season, the change in the colors, and it is magnificent driving in here from Johnson City, Tennessee. You have to see it to believe it. There was a face masking call on that last return, so Georgia Southern starts in Appalachian territory as they pitch it back. Williams has good yardage. James Williams, a senior from Thomasville, Georgia, out near a first down. Standing by down on the field, Mark Martin has an update for us. Mark?
We saw Jason Hatcher go down with the injury. He was in severe pain here on the sideline. They have taken him into the locker room for an x-ray. They're looking at a possible fractured fibula. We should know more before the half is over. Tough break for the freshman lineman. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Mark. And one thing Jerry Moore does not need is to have any of his players, especially the starters, getting hurt. Handoff right up the middle, nothing doing. Back to the line of scrimmage and no more for the fullback, James Williams.
Well, the replacements, though, are not doing badly in the middle of that line still. With Hatcher gone, it's Peoples, and I'm not sure if that's Vincent Fraley or not in there right now. But
Quentin King got a piece of that last one, the senior from Plant City, Florida. So now 3rd down and 7. Dupree to go to the air. Complete to Dexter Dawson. And Dawson is down at the 20-yard line. And I tell you what, had Joe Dupree not been a great athlete, he'd have never gotten a chance to throw that football.
He did a great job. He's pulling up a little bit lame here along the sideline, too, but he did a nice job of stiff-arming Brent David, He shoots the middle, the fine middle linebacker for Appalachian State shoots the middle. He kind of pushes him off with his arm, with a little bit of a stiff arm, and then he's got the presence to wave. I think he's waving not at Dexter Dawson, who catches his football, but Chris Wright, or Payne rather, over here on the right side. You can't see him. He waves him, and it pulls the coverage away from Dexter Dawson. That's who he throws to.
Gain of 23 yards down to the 21. Dawson, that's what you call finding the seam in the defense. Here we go on first down. Dupree cuts it up. 15-yard line, goes down there. Talk about your freelancers.
And he had to be sandbagging on that leg injury. Did you see him make that cut there?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was trying to fool the defense a little bit when he limped back into the huddle like he couldn't run. That was a pretty decent cut he made to take that ball up for a pretty decent gain at 5 or 6 yards.
Brian Jean Mary made the tackle. With the ball inside the 15-yard line. What a great job Tim Stowers has done in his 4th year. 30-13 the mark, plus a Division I AA national championship. Dupree tried to cut it up, but there was really nowhere to go, thanks to Dexter Copley, a freshman from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Here's an instance where maybe the fullback needs to have the ball. James Williams, instead of keeping and taking around the outside, and both the right side of their offensive line, Joey Cushing, Miguel Ayub, they both were down about 5 or 6 yards, and Williams was running with them. Everybody making the tackle, though, on Joe Dupree.
9:29 to play. Dupree wants a timeout. He's going to talk it over with Tim Stowers. 6-0, the Mountaineers lead it. A big third down for Georgia Southern. Dupree on the quarterback draw. Dupree will score. Joe Dupree from 15 yards out.
Well, what an excellent call by Mike Hodges, I'm going to assume, their offensive coordinator over there in the Georgia Southern booth. Look at this block that James Williams puts on Brent David, the middle linebacker, and that's the one that springs him free. Dupree with a big touchdown last week to pull the game out against Western Carolina. Right at the end, this is a big touchdown right here.
And Reed Haley to kick it through for the point after, and does. So Appalachian has had the upper hand for the most part of this second quarter. But just like that, Georgia Southern is up 7-6.
The Sports South College Football Blitz. Rushing in a Southern Conference matchup, the Mountaineers try to withstand the attack of the Thundering Herd. Live next Saturday on Sports South.
It's time for AC Delco's Great Offensive Play of the Week, sponsored by AC Delco Automotive Parts. Available for almost any vehicle, they can help your car or truck last and last. AC Delco, it's like buying time. With 2nd and 1 at the 15-yard line, quarterback Danny O'Neill of the Oregon Ducks throws a high lofting pass to wideout Chris McLemore in the end zone. Even with pass interference from USC defensive back John Herpin, McLemore was able to climb the ladder and bring down the perfectly placed touchdown pass.
Just like that, Georgia Southern leads it 7-6 as Eric Smith gets set to kick it away. Dupree with a 15-yard touchdown run gets Georgia Southern back on top, or on top for the first time today. This is Nate Abraham from his goal line, and Abraham, boy, out to the 14-yard line. Both teams have done a good job on their kickoff teams. Now let's go down to the field. Mark, who you got, a guest?
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Joined by the fine athletic director here at Appalachian State University, Mr. Roach Laney. And, well, I know you liked the score up until just a moment ago.
Oh, yes. You know, it's been a very competitive game. We knew that it would be. Georgia Southern's a fine program, so we're in for an exciting afternoon.
Your 3rd year overall as athletic director here at Appalachian State, but you've been on board almost 20 years. Does it seem possible that time has flown by that quickly?
Well, not really, because it's been wonderful years. We have a tremendous university and sports program here, so it's fun. It's a great job with a great university.
Well, you had us down to possibly the most beautiful time of the year.
Very much so. We're at the peak of league season. The town's loaded with people. Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't show up here this afternoon, but it is a wonderful setting, a great institution we have, and one of the most beautiful places in the world.
All right, Roach, well, great seeing you, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Kevin and Jeff.
Right about the peak season of the foliage. You can't get a hotel room in this town either. Here's Satterfield. Satterfield with a big gainer out over the 30-yard line, a first down, and a gain of 14 yards for Appalachian. Appalachian had been struggling offensively until that play right there. They really needed that.
Yeah, their base plays are not working. This is that little bootleg, that naked bootleg that he ran. He gets a nice block here from Farkas on the inside. I think that was against Walter Flowers, and he does a good job of getting positive yardage out of it. He made a big play of this on their first drive for a field goal, and this is what they need to do. They're not working very well with their base offense.
You see Dupree took it in from 15 yards, capping that 6-play, 47-yard drive for Georgia Southern a moment ago. Chip Hooks cuts it back out to the 40-yard line, out to the 41, and on first down, knocks off 7 yards. A little easier to go at it on second down and 3.
Well, once again, Kevin Farkas, the 6'9", 337-pound man. He is a giant out there. He's easy to pick out, number 61.
Look at Hooks standing next to him.
5'7", 155, but he does a nice job. And this is one of what has been his problems, talking to the Appalachian State coaches, is staying after the blocks. Here, he does a really good job of staying after Nick Davis.
Fighting for extra yardage, Johnny Smith has the first down, and Johnny Smith goes up to the 45-yard line. And a first down for Appalachian. 1990 Coach of the Year, Tim Stowers. Won the national championship in 1990 as well. He's in his 4th year. He's won a lot more than he's lost, folks. 30 wins, 13 losses.
Well, the last 3 plays have been directed at the left side, once again, of Appalachian State's offensive line, large offensive line.
Chip Hooks got some good blocks in front, cuts it up inside Eagle territory to the 49-yard line. One thing about Chip Hooks, when he makes a decision, he goes ahead and sticks his head in there.
He's got 10 100-yard rushing games here. That's 3rd on the all-time list. And there you see that contrast again on the screen between Farkas and Chip Hooks.
That is amazing.
John Settles, the all-time 100-yard rusher here, played with the Atlanta Falcons, had a 1,000-yard rusher all-pro year with them 1 year, and finished his career with the Redskins. He's got 22 100-yard days.
They try him again. And Hooks falls forward near a first down, always going north and south. We'll see, it depends on the mark as far as whether or not he got this first down. I believe he did.
5+ career average, and you see he doesn't mind running inside. Even at his size, he does not mind mixing enough with the big guys.
Referee Ron Buckner says move the chains, fellas. First down. Got it by the nose of the football. 7-6, Georgia Southern leads it. Appalachian driving here in the second quarter with 6:15 to play. Satterfield has his man, Ray Gamma, for a gain of about 5 yards. Now, Ray Gamma, long way from home. He's a senior from Katy, Texas. That's a suburb of Houston out on the west side.
Well, you've seen this offense, Kevin. They're very diversified now. This is not simple. Look at this. He's running a number of different looks at Georgia Southern. This is just a simple little out, but they're mixing it up nicely. Inside, outside with the run. He'll keep it, and then they come with a pass.
And you pick up a long 5 on first down. So second down and 4. Hooks again cuts it back, and Hooks has another Appalachian first down. They're going left, they're going right, running, passing, doing a little bit of everything right now, and keeping Georgia Southern's defense back on their heels.
Yeah, they're not really sure how to sit in against them. When you're pulling, in this case, it's not pulling both guards, it's pulling an onside guard and a backside tackle. You got some angle blocks by your front side tackle and also your center, and it keeps Georgia's defense at home a little bit so they can't pursue, and then you let Hooks find a little bit of a crack, or Smith, as he did on that first down conversion or third down conversion a few plays back.
Again on first down, Hooks on the pitch. Hooks maybe a gain of 2 there. A good job that time. Darius Dawson leading the way for Georgia Southern. Also Davis in on the stop. Nick Davis, senior from Griffin, Georgia. And now Chip Hooks looks like he's banged up a little bit. He'll come out and take a rest. Nate Abraham comes in, junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 27 in the backfield. So on 2nd down and 8 from the 33-yard line. Bootleg, Satterfield. It's incomplete. Looking for Jeff Vollmer, the big tight end, freshman. A little high and outside.
You're going to look at a little bit of Satterfield's inexperience. He had Don Blue running free down the field. He chose to go to the tight end first, and maybe he felt the pressure coming, a little bit of that pressure, and decided to unload early. But if he could have waited maybe another count, Blue was running free because I think, is that Brandon Roselle on that side? It's number 2 for cornerback.
Francis Williams, who was backing up Roselle.
Yeah, Francis came in and committed to Fulmer, the tight end.
So 3rd down and long. Satterfield has his man complete and out of bounds, but a first down. Kevin Burton, a freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, picks up 18 yards on a 3rd down and 9.
Boy, it appears as if Georgia Southern is a little bit slow motion over here. They don't really do anything. They don't pressure Satterfield at all. He allowed him to come right out around the end. He probably could have run farther if he wanted, and not real tight coverage on the receiver. Satterfield's got a nice series of downs going for him, throwing and running.
Another first down. So from the 16-yard line, this is Chip Hooks down to the 5-yard line. Scott Davis saved the touchdown for Georgia Southern. A gain of 12 yards.
Boy, just a major block by Derek Farkas on Edward Thomas, the defensive end for Georgia Southern, number 97. Of course, Farkas has him outweighed probably by 100 and something pounds, but just a tremendous block. Good block inside their center and left guard again. Cadlip and also Chad Hoover.
Yeah, Kevin Farkas, 6'9", 357 pounds. This is Chip Hooks, stuttering inside the 5-yard line. He goes down to the 3-yard line. Stockton in there on the make the tackle, along with Nick Davis for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. And this is where the Georgia Southern defense has been tough. It's been a bend but not break type of a defense so far. Last week against Western Carolina, and again today against Appalachian. They've only given up the 2 field goals.
Well, being a little bit wide open is what got him here. The field's compressed. I think you want to stay a little bit wide open.
So 2nd and goal. Satterfield with blockers in front. Satterfield cuts it up. Touchdown, Appalachian.
Real nice job that time. Johnny Smith leading it around that right end. Gets a great block on Scott Davis.
And now Appalachian looks like they're going to go for 2. As they lead it 12-7. I believe they are going to go for 2. Well, you got to be impressed with Scott Satterfield, and keep in mind this young man is only a sophomore from Hillsborough, North Carolina. That was a magnificent drive too for Georgia Southern. The big play on 3rd down and 9 that picked up 18 on the pass to Kevin Burton. Now going for 2. It's going to be a free play. Satterfield throws in the end zone. It's caught. The 2-point conversion is good. Kevin Burton again. And now it's a 7-point ball game at 14-7. The flag is down, but I believe this is offsides against Georgia Southern. It is. And the fellas in black are pumped up, and so are their fans. Three minutes, 49 seconds to play. A 4-yard run by Satterfield.
Satterfield's got the option, throw or run. Oh, this is the touchdown run, and this is just the rollout. Here is the 2-point conversion here. Once again, the ball's in Satterfield's hands, and he's pointing to Burton where he wants him.
Talk about catching it with your hands, because there was nobody there to catch it with. He was on his backside when he made the catch. The Mountaineers like it. as they lead it 14-7 on a hazy fall day in Boone, North Carolina. Kevin Burton, who had, it was really apropos that Satterfield would throw the two-point conversion to him because he was really the big play in that drive when they faced that 3rd down and 9. And Appalachian just chewed up big-time yardage against the Georgia Southern defense on that last drive.
Looks like Georgia Southern has not really taken Burton into effect. He's made a couple of big catches in today's game. It's blue and gamma. Maybe they're concentrating on him a little bit more, but you're right. The difference has been Satterfield. He's just looks a little bit wise beyond his years. The first 3 games, a little bit of an iffy situation for him. He really shows he's playing with a lot of confidence today.
And you know, we talked before, as you see that scoring drive, well orchestrated, 14 plays, 86 yards, taking up 5.5 minutes. We talked before this last drive, saying that Appalachian needed to do something offensively because they've been quiet since the first half of the first quarter. They've had a couple of really stagnant possessions, but they needed that.
Yeah, it keeps the momentum in their favor, at least keeps the game in balance. If you answer what another team does, Georgia Southern gets a score, you come right back and get another score.
Kick it away to Chris Wright. And Wright will let this one bounce through the end zone. Touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So Georgia Southern, who was impressive on their offensive drive the last time they had the football, will send their offensive unit back out onto the field, led by Joe Dupree. If you're just joining us, 2 field goals in the first quarter for Appalachian. It was Kyler Ferguson, good from 22 yards out and good from 31 yards out at the end of the first quarter. Appalachian led it 6-0. In the second quarter, the last possession for Georgia Southern, that man right there, Joe Dupree, went 15 yards on a quarterback draw to make it 7-6 before the 2-point conversion and the touchdown for Appalachian that you just saw. Dupree pitches it back. And cutting it up maybe for a gain of a yard is Terry Lester. He's a freshman from Lithonia, Georgia. So at that time it was strung out extremely well by Appalachian. Penalty marker is down. Brent David made the stop for the Mountaineers.
There's the option that they've been running most of the day, pulling the backside guard. That time Quentin King really lays the shoulder into Joe Dupree, and looks like a face mask on Brent David, their fine middle linebacker.
That's a shame as far as Brent David because he was there in position, able to string the play out, but you got to keep your hands out of that face.
Really a rule that has come into vogue in the last 5 or 6 years, especially the differentiation between let's hear the official.
Oh. So they offset.
Well, the one about grabbing the face mask, though, where it can be just casual, where a guy's just throwing his hand to try to make a tackle, and the flagrant pulling of the face mask.
She didn't like the call either. So we offset back to the 20-yard line and play first down all over again with 3 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the first half. Dupree to throw it for Dawson. And Dawson has it for a gain of 4 yards. Made the first man miss, but then the posse was on its way, and Brent David was leading the way. And I don't think Brent's disposition was too good at that point after the penalty on the last play. And Dexter Dawson, sophomore from Camilla, Georgia, is still hurt. He's still down.
Well, he probably shouldn't have taken it back inside. That's where all the pursuit is coming. Both these teams showing good pursuit from their defensive teams. Dexter Dawson has been a big player for Coach Tim Stowers' Georgia Southern Eagles.
He averages 23 yards a catch. That's tough to replace, especially when you think about it. Georgia Southern really didn't throw the ball that much. And when you average 23 yards a reception on an offense that doesn't throw it a whole lot, that's pretty impressive.
Kind of like to think what it would be if they did throw it more. And Joe Dupree was the one who made that big throw to Dexter Dawson to get their touchdown drive rolling, and then followed by the big run out of Joe Dupree. But they've got 2 fine receivers, Darren Willis on the other side. Team plays without a tight end, though. Reminds you of the run and shoot in your part of the country, Houston, and mine over in Atlanta. Not many tight ends in those games.
No. So Dawson heads over to the sideline when with 3:25, Georgia Southern will go at it 2nd down and 6. There you see the no tight end set and the 2 slot backs. Dupree. Dupree cuts it up, has the first down, and run out of bounds. After a gain of 10 yards out to the 35-yard line.
Appalachian State had their, looks like Joe Dupree's ankle is really bothering him now. It's starting to get a little bit worse, maybe stiffening up, but Appalachian State's defense was slanting that time to the wide side of the field. Georgia Southern crossed him up, came short side. He put a nice move on Jamie Coleman to get by him. That ankle is looking like it's really, really taken away from him right now.
So first down and 10 for Georgia Southern. They trail it by 7. This one is complete. Darren Willis, and Willis has a gain of 8 yards out to the 41-yard line. A little too early for Appalachian to get in a bit of a prevent defense here before halftime, because you still got a little under 3 minutes left in this first half.
Well, they know that Georgia Southern's got speed outside with Willis and Dawson, and they've been trying to keep everything underneath for the most part of the day here. When you do that, you really put a lot of pressure on your safeties to react to pass and run, and if it is run, to come up and force and make the tackle on this pitch.
There you see the story. Dupree to throw it again. Being pressured. Dupree's got a lot of room. Lets it go for Dawson, and it's incomplete. Boy, there was a lot of folks open there and a lot of open yardage. Matter of fact, Dawson looks like he could have adjusted to that football any way he wanted to. He really wasn't covered.
No, Larry Dennis forced Dupree, and I think Joe would like to have that ball back in his hands once he gets a look at it. Here's the early force by Larry Dennis. He pulls Joe Dupree out. Nobody really pressured him. Take your time. Look at, you're throwing it like a javelin there almost, Joe. And still not a bad throw, but you've got time to set for just a split second unless that ankle's bothering you too badly and make a good throw.
Tough to tell from that angle, the depth perception, but Jamie Coleman was not that close. The man, number 12, that had the coverage. Here's a big gainer for James Williams. But it could be another face mask. A 12-yard pickup. They let the officials sort things out. Well, if this is another face mask penalty, that'd be, what, the 3rd or 4th one we've had today.
Everybody's a little bit behind with their tackling. It looked like James Williams got really pulled down after he broke past the 50 and pulled down by a face mask. This could be a flagrant one. He's been kind of quiet. How many times do you see the fullback in a option offense taking it wide like that? I mean, there's a lot of versatility in the way they run what they call their flex bone.
I have a 15-yard face mask defense. That's 15 yards from the end of the run.
So you check on the 15 yards to the 12-yard run by James Williams. It's a 27-yard pickup for Georgia Southern.
Solution to get rid of the face mask penalty, get rid of the face mask, will make this game a lot less hitting probably.
Will Robinson was being blocked and really got there late. You see the penalty situation. Dupree. They had a beat on him, but he gets away and completes the pass to Dexter Dawson. And Dupree has been a great freelancer today because he's been in a lot of trouble back there.
He's had 2 people chasing him this time. Williams doesn't get a real clean block on Dexter Coakley, the linebacker who is blitzing, and once again Larry Dennis comes up empty-handed. Number 31, he's not able to gather him. Coach Tim Stowers there on the sidelines. I think he's got something to say to the officials. Something he didn't like.
You can see he said call timeout. And that's exactly what he did, was call timeout. With 1:47 seconds to play in this first half, Appalachian giving everything Georgia Southern wants right now. You can tell it by looking at the scoreboard. They're up 14-7.
Reed lips pretty good. And what was he saying?
I wasn't looking.
Timeout.
I was looking.
Timeout good.
You saw it too. He said they call timeout. I was looking at the scoreboard. I would have read the lips for you had you had asked me before. You would want to read lips on that side right there, as that is Ruffin McNeil, the defensive coordinator for Appalachian. Although his defense has played very well this afternoon. We say that in joking and jest here, but that defense has played awfully well today.
Yeah, it's a good tight ball game except for the penalties and maybe the turnovers. That's what has an effect, I think, on both teams. Although Georgia Southern was unable to get anything out of that punt turnover by Appalachian State. Dupree has thrown 2 interceptions. I think only one of them meant anything to Appalachian State's offense. The other one might have been negated. And coming into today's game, he'd only thrown 1 other interception, that against Marshall in the loss earlier this season. Only 3 in his career. Fine high school quarterback out of Macon, Georgia, transferred from the University of Georgia to Georgia Southern.
Dupree again on the quarterback draw, picking and choosing his hole, and goes ahead for a gain of 10 yards and another Georgia Southern first down.
They've seen that play enough today. That's at least the 3rd time, maybe the 4th, that they've gone with that quarterback draw, and it's been a very positive play. You can see Franklin Stevens blocking on Mark Ivey, opens up a nice hole. James Williams leading through the hole, does a great block on Brent David, their all-American linebacker, and the results.
Here's the misdirection, but snuffed out by Appalachian. Brent David was there. All kind of misdirection. Also Chad Gore in there to lay a hard hat on the running back, Marlo Warthen. So now it's 2nd down, and you go with the hurry-up offense as we count down to 65 seconds to play in the first half. Again, the misdirection. And again, you know what they did, though? What Appalachian did best there, as it was Kevin Sikorsky that made the play, but they kept him in bounds and made him burn a timeout. Didn't let him get to the outside. On the other side of that, though, Dupree should have done a better job getting out of bounds.
Should have recognized down and distance where he was and taken it out of bounds. He had nothing going for him back inside.
So another timeout as Joe Dupree goes over. I think he's saying it right there.
My
fault.
bad, yeah.
My fault.
Coach Stowers is telling him, hey, why did you get out of bounds? We'd have had that timeout.
So now 51 seconds to play as the Mountaineers lead it, as you can see, 14-7. Here on a cool day in Boone, North Carolina. From what I understand, it could get a lot cooler than this here. You see the people there in their jackets.
Temperature's dropping too since we came in here earlier this morning. Very pretty setting for a stadium. 18,000, but a nice little bowl stadium, and they play a lot of different sports in here. Usually track and soccer and any number of sports on this field. Although I'm not a big proponent of artificial turf.
Artificial turf. That's the politically correct way to say it.
Well, it was when I was in college, Tennessee put it in 1966, and it was called tartan turf at that time. Unbelievable footing. They'd give the visiting teams a shoe that had a little tiny balls on the bottom of them, and the footing was just outstanding. And of course, by the time you finished, you had rug burns all over you because you didn't know you had to cover up every part of your body.
So Dupree brings him to the line of scrimmage with 51 seconds left. It's a 3rd down and 9. Dupree set in the pocket. Now he's going to run. He's going to be short of the first down, but he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. And I guess you have to send the field goal unit on now, and Dupree really antsy getting up. You see when he is really favoring that left ankle.
This time, though, he makes the right decision. It's not there. He doesn't have anything downfield. Blitz is coming. He feels Dexter Coakley on his backside, and he takes off and gets out of bounds. Reserves himself for the opportunity for 3.
A 31-yard attempt from Reed Haley, the junior from Clearwater, Florida. Out of the hold of Bill Thatcher. Plenty of distance, and he's perfect. So Georgia Southern strikes back with 39 seconds with a nice drive of their own and a 31-yard field goal by Reed Haley. This has been an excellent first half.
Well, it's well played by both teams. Even with the turnovers, they didn't allow themselves to let the game get out of balance, out of perspective. They came back against it, and you've seen a little bid of everything. Both offenses have opened it up a little bit. Georgia Southern not known as a passing team, yet Dupree has hit a couple of big passes for him. But Scott Satterfield has just been very impressive all around. I think running, throwing, leading Appalachian State to that 14-10 lead.
Recapping it for you, Kyler Ferguson with 2 field goals in the first quarter gave Appalachian a 6-0 lead. In the second quarter, Georgia Southern got on the board with a Dupree 15-yard run, and Appalachian answered right back on the next drive with an 86-yard drive, capped off a 4-yard run by Scott Satterfield. That made it at the time 12-7, so they went for 2. The pass was complete to Kevin Burton, made it 14-7, and there you saw Georgia Southern with that drive as Reed Haley, a 31-yard field goal with 39 seconds left, makes it 14-10. Again, Nate Abraham and Dexter Coakley. That's Abraham to the bottom of the screen, back deep. And this will be Coakley. Coakley takes a knee. He was going to tease him for a minute, then he took a knee. Now you can tell, how many times, we talked about this earlier, how many times have you seen a linebacker running back kickoffs?
He's a sensational athlete. They've had some great linebackers here, too, guys who played in the pros. Dino Hackett was a great linebacker with the Kansas City Chiefs. And a player here named Cedric Felton who has 500 career tackles. And that's what Brent David's closing in on. And they say that Coakley will certainly surpass that when his career is done. He is an outstanding freshman, 5'11", 190 to play inside. Got just great speed.
So 39 seconds left. Satterfield will sit on it. And we'll see if we have to run another play. I want to remind you at halftime, Mark Martin will be down on the field side. He'll have some special guests coming by. We'll take a look at both the Georgia Southern and Appalachian bands. That's all coming up here at halftime.
Well, I don't know if you run your quarterback, if you're going to run the clock out, why don't you just run the fullback up the middle and let it roll. Don't risk injury to Satterfield right before the half. They get away with it, though.
All right, but they will go to the locker room as the seconds tick away, and a good first half it has been. 14-10, Appalachian leads it. Appalachian at 1-5, a heavy underdog in this ball game as Georgia Southern leading the conference as they come in at 3-1, 4-2 overall. But Appalachian has done all they've needed to do and some here in this first half. And they lead it by a score of 14-10. Both quarterbacks have done an excellent job. Satterfield, Scott Satterfield, who has scored on a touchdown from Appalachian, and Joe Dupree from Georgia Southern. Really the guys that have gotten things done. And right now, let's go down onto the field of Mark Martin. He stands by with the Georgia Southern coach, Tim Stowers.
Well, the game's really gone about like I thought it would. We've thrown a couple interceptions and they were missing points. You know, Chip Hooks is a fine running back. They got a good offensive line. They're big and strong. They moved on down the field. We just got to make the play in the second half. This is what the Southern Conference football is all about. Appalachian's not a 1-5 football team. That might be their record, but I mean they are very well coached. They got a super tradition, and Coach Moore's doing a super job. We just got to come out and make the play in the second half. We expect to win.
All right, Timmy. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tim Stowers, the head coach of Georgia Southern, back upstairs to Kevin and Jeff.
All right, thank you, Mark. All right, we are at halftime. 14-10, the score here at the end of one. We'll be back for our halftime in just a moment.
Every golfer knows the rule. Play the ball.
Halftime, it's the homestanding Mountaineers in the lead over the first place team in the Southern Conference, the Eagles of Georgia Southern University. Great football game here at the break. The count is 14-10. Welcome back, everybody. Mark Martin with you here at halftime, and Appalachian State with the lead and those all-important first quarter points. They had not scored in the first quarter heading into this game here this afternoon. Through 6 games this season, they had failed to score in the first quarter, but they get 2 Kyler Ferguson field goals, and you can certainly tell a difference in Jerry Moore's football team here in the first half of action. The first field goal from 22 yards out, the second field goal coming from 31 yards out. Georgia Southern, though, would regain the lead with Joe Dupree going in from 15 yards out. The extra point good. That made it 7-6 with 9:22 to go in the first half of action. But then it's Appalachian State coming back. Quarterback Scott Satterfield on a touchdown run, and Jerry Moore and company electing to go for 2. Satterfield heading Kevin Burton with the 2-point conversion. That made it 14-7. And then the closing seconds of this first half of action, and Reed Haley with the field goal of 31 yards for Georgia Southern, and that's where we stand here at halftime, 14-10. Good football game here. Beautiful day, although a bit overcast. It's a beautiful time of year here in North Carolina. We will be back with more from Boone, 14-10 at the half. Conference schools, Appalachian State and Georgia Southern, and the homestanding Mountaineers with a 14-10 lead here at the break. And joining me here at halftime is the Chancellor at Appalachian State University, Dr. Francis Borkowski. And I guess it was May 14th when you officially took over here and becoming the 5th Chancellor of this school. And first of all, just talk about your early months on the job.
Well, it's been a great place to be. Appalachian State's just a fine university, and I'm more impressed every week with the quality of the faculty and the quality of the students here. We're just delighted to be here today.
Your views on intercollegiate athletics, what kind of role do you feel it plays for the young men and young women who participate and for the university in general?
I think intercollegiate athletics can play a very important role in the lives of young people. Number one, it's a matter of preparation and wellness and physically being prepared. The competition, I think, is healthy and good. It's a matter of perspective. I think the Southern Conference is excellent. I think football, basketball, all of the sports are in the right perspective here. The graduation rates are good. And I think the students who take part in athletics come out with an edge that a lot of other students don't. So I really do believe strongly in intercollegiate athletics, and I believe, for that matter, in intramurals just as well. And we have a heavy intramural program here. I think it's just simply a good facet of an undergraduate education.
Certainly can't beat an atmosphere like this afternoon, can you?
Not at all. This is the way football ought to be played.
Let's talk about your background, and in reading up on your biography, you've done some extensive travel through the years in the field of education. I'll let you elaborate.
Well, the travels have all been university related. As we look toward the next century and we see all the advances that are being made globally, it's important to have an environment where our young people can come to understand people of diversity and different cultures and races and creeds. And usually my travels have taken me to other institutions where I've set up research programs or exchange programs with the university with which I was associated. And we're doing a lot of that here at Appalachian. In fact, I've been very impressed and surprised with the extent of our international work here.
Early on, your thoughts on what Appalachian State University offers to a young man or a young woman?
Well, unlike many large, comprehensive research universities, Appalachian has a tradition of being student-centered and service-driven. There's a quality of intimacy here, a quality of closeness, of caring, that many large institutions just don't have. We keep the class sizes modest. Students have easy access to faculty and to staff. And it's just a quality that is very special.
Your background certainly heavy in the music field, and you have performed the clarinet and also been a conductor for many symphonies through the years. Your plans here in the Tar Heel State as you make a move in your career, any plans at this point for that facet of your life?
Well, my debut was the first football game where I conducted the national anthem, and I hope progress is a little beyond that. But yeah, I would be, of course, delighted to be able to conduct periodically through the year, and I'm sure opportunities will come about.
All right, well, it's great being with you because you're a West Virginia native, and it's always nice that when West Virginia natives can get together. So it's a pleasure talking with you here this afternoon.
It's nice to have been a Mountaineer and to come full circle to be a Mountaineer again. Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Francis Borkowski, the Chancellor here at Appalachian State University. At the break, the Mountaineers up 14-10. Our coverage continues in a moment. We welcome you back on the campus of Appalachian State University. We're at the intermission. It is Appalachian State leading Georgia Southern by a count of 14-10 in this Southern Conference showdown. And we welcome you back, everybody. Mark Martin with you, now joined by Dr. Alan Hauser, who is not only the chairman of the athletic department here at Appalachian State University, you also serve as the Southern Conference president, and you are a busy man. We're going to have to find a few more jobs for you.
I think I have quite enough, thank you. But there certainly are quite a few that are involved there. I think I've been faculty athletic representative since 1986, and I think one of the things I most enjoy about that is the way both the Southern Conference and Appalachian State University are very, very careful to make our primary objective the academic well-being of our student athletes. We have some very fine athletic teams, as I think you're seeing in this game, but our ultimate goal here is to see that these student athletes get a fine education. And I think that's one of the things that has to be kept at the forefront of one's attention in intercollegiate athletics. I'll give you an example. The NCAA every year requires each institution to give a report to them of the graduation rate of their student athletes and of the graduation rate of their overall student body for a particular entering class. In 1987, our overall graduation rate for all of our students 5 years later was 59%. Our overall graduation rate for our student athletes entering at the same time was 58.5%. So that's about as close, I think, as you can hit it. And I'd emphasize one other thing that goes with it. Students today are taking more than 4 years to graduate. That's not something many of us like, but that's the way it is. Our overall student body for that same year took 4.63 years to graduate. Our student athletes took 4.65, which is amazing when you consider all of the extra responsibilities a student athlete has.
The Southern Conference nationwide has really gained a lot of attention, a lot of respect, and we talk about athletics, but in the academic field as well, and I know it's just a great pleasure to be a part of all that.
Oh, it certainly is. We have not only some very fine institutions in the Southern Conference, and I think that Georgia Southern and Davidson, when they joined us recently, were very solid additions to our conference, but I think it's also the case that the Southern Conference has this dual focus on fine athletic teams and academics. And as I see it, that's precisely the way it should be in intercollegiate athletics. And I think in some ways, I don't want to brag too much, but I think the Southern Conference can certainly serve as a model for what the NCAA should be all about.
All right, we got a great game going here this afternoon. Two great institutions. Dr. Hauser, thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed talking to you.
All right, Dr. Alan Hauser with us here at halftime. It is a 14-10 lead for the Mountaineers over Georgia Southern. We'll return to Boone in just a moment.
The Sports South College Football Blitz, rushing in a Southern Conference match.
And we welcome you back to Boone, North Carolina. Mark Martin back on the field with you. Jerry Moore, the head coach of the Mountaineers of Appalachian State, joining me. And Jerry, you have to be pleased with how this first half has gone.
We're very pleased. We're just playing hard. We've hurt ourselves with some penalties, but we're playing hard, and so far things have been going pretty good.
Got those first quarter points, and I know that just seemed to add some fire to this football team.
Well, it did, and it was a good 80-yard drive. We needed that.
Jerry, good luck here in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Jerry Moore, the head coach of the Mountaineers, his team on top 14-10. We now return you to Kevin and Jeff.
All right, thank you, Mark. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from this first half of action. And it was a well-played first half. We first started off as Kyler Ferguson got things off got Appalachian off the 0 mark as he kicks it through from 22 yards out, and that made the score 3-0. Then Ferguson again, he will try it from 31 yards out from the right hash mark, knocks it through, and Appalachian led it 6-0 in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Georgia Southern comes back 15 yards out on the quarterback draw, and you see Joe Dupree take it in for 6. But on the next drive, Scott Satterfield from 4 yards out, just a naked bootleg rollout, fakes the pitch and takes it in. At that point, it was 12-7. So Appalachian decides to go for 2. Satterfield finds Kevin Burton, and watch the catch he makes in the back of the end zone, and he hauls it in. And then to cap things off, Reed Haley from 31 yards out with 39 seconds to play gets us to 14-10. That's where we stand now as you take a look at the first half statistics. And Appalachian really getting things done. Look at the first downs doubling up. Georgia Southern with 12 first downs, only 6 for Georgia Southern. You see they're getting it done on the ground, in the air. Neither one of these teams is going to throw it a whole lot. Neither team really penalized a whole lot. But those numbers right there give you an idea of how much Appalachian has really dominated this first half.
Well, with Satterfield rolling out as much as he is, and they've got the Georgia Southern defense spread out, Hooks has done a good job finding some holes, as has Satterfield. And I think one of the things Georgia Southern's worried about is him rolling out and then throwing the football.
So we are underway. Here we go in the second half. As Coakley moves it up and will get Appalachian pretty good field position out to the 24-yard line. Dexter Coakley, a return of 18 yards to get us started here in the second half. 14-10, the Mountaineers of Appalachian lead it as Appalachian comes in 1-5, 1-2 in Southern Conference play. Their only win over East Tennessee State. Georgia Southern comes in 4-2. They are 3-1 in conference play, losing at Huntington, West Virginia against Marshall a few weeks back. Scott Satterfield, who had an excellent first half, back in under center. And on first down, hands it to the fullback, Chip Hooks. Gets outside, and Hooks will go ahead for maybe only 3 yards on the play, but it was a play that Hooks could have very well have lost too.
Yeah, Walter Flowers, defensive tackle for Georgia Southern, does a nice job of penetration. You'll see this a lot from this Georgia Southern defensive line. They're not the biggest. They're all about the same size, but they do a good job of getting between blockers and trying to mess something up in the backfield. That time Walter didn't come up to tackle, though.
So 2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard pickup. Satterfield has his man, Ray Gamma. Gamma knocked out of bounds right at the 1st down marker. Darius Dawson escorting Ray Gamma out of bounds. Gamma, a senior from Katy, Texas.
Just a simple little out pattern. He doesn't quite get to the sticks, and that is because of Darius Dawson does a nice job of shadowing him and then knocking him out. Dawson, an all-star candidate, maybe a national all-star candidate. He's a big play type player for this Georgia Southern Eagles, but Satterfield starts the 2nd half much like he ended the 1st. A lot of confidence.
Well, that's going to be a 3rd down situation coming up by about half the length of a football.
Boy, you're in a situation as Appalachian State is. They're leading, and they are not having a real successful season at this point. This is the time maybe to take the chances like at a 3rd and 1. See if they're willing to do it or not. Or do you just want to keep the chains going? The question for Coach Jerry Moore.
What would you do? I'd be awfully conservative.
No, I like to gamble. I think the game should be played as wide open as possible, and instead of the percentage football. But then again, I'm not coaching.
Appalachian, a 3rd of their 3rd downs, they were successful. They get the 1st down. They go with the conservative move.
In the most conservative way. That's somewhere to the right of Mayo Taesung, isn't it? The quarterback sneak on 3rd and inches.
What does he say? It's a lot easier to air it out when it's somebody else's team you're airing out, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think when you're talking about football, second guessing and talking about maybe what you think they should do. And Jerry Moore has had a great success here at Appalachian State, not listening to fans nor myself probably.
1 minute into the 2nd half as they hand it to the 1st man, and now Johnny Smith, a junior out of Florida, breaks it for a gain of 5 yards. And that's been a trend that has been going on this entire ball game, is the fact that Appalachian has been very successful on 1st down. They've been getting 4, 5, and 6 yards on 1st down.
That's what any team wants to do. Any offensive wants to win the battle on 1st down, where you now have the options. Now, which way do you set your defense? Or you're going to look for pass, you're going to look for run. They can keep you guessing.
Satterfield will go down, go back, loses 5 on the play, really back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's another big 3rd down coming up. 3rd down and 10. Georgia Southern's defense was there to make the stop.
I'm not sure if Walter Flowers got that sack or Alex Mash, but Michael Morris was not fooled, the defensive end. You can bet that Georgia Southern's defensive coaches have told their ends, Charlie Burt and Michael Morris, not to let him outside on that naked boot.
So 3rd down and call it 9 from the 37-yard line. Appalachian on the opening drive here in the 3rd quarter. Satterfield open in the flat. Johnny Smith, maybe a gain of 2, but it'll be punt time for Appalachian. And we will see if Appalachian State, what they will do on this punt, because as we have said earlier, and they've already botched 1 punt attempt today. It's been an adventure for Will Burkett. He's had 5 punts blocked this season. Georgia Southern has blocked 4. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. And here they come. And it's blocked. And it'll be touchdown, Georgia Southern. Clinton Gregory blocked it. And a 34-yard return by Marco Bradham.
Unbelievable. He just comes unscathed off the right side. The snap is perfect. Bentley has had 2 perfect snaps the last 2 punts. They've been frozen ropes right back to him. I don't think he takes exorbitantly long. He's a tall guy, and he takes a little time to kick the football, but not too much time. It's just that you got to have a block in there. The scheme of blocking is not real clean and strong.
And so now Georgia Southern on top 17-14. 12 minutes even to play in the third quarter. When we come back, Appalachian will have it back, trailing by 3. Parties, are you ready for some real food? South Carolina, smiling faces, beautiful places. And U.S. Air, the official airline of the Southern Conference. U.S. Air begins with you. 17-14, Georgia Southern leads it. And for the 6th time this season, Appalachian has had a punt blocked, and for the 5th time this season, Georgia Southern has blocked one. Last week it led to a safety for Georgia Southern in a game that they won by only 1 point. So right now it's put them up by 3. So it really is amazing that a team can have that many punts blocked.
You're not going to win many games, and your special teams are not solid, and this punting situation has been disastrous this year for Appalachian State, and certainly in this first half and the second half.
Now you see they got 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and Clinton Gregory with the great extension wasn't even close. Marco Bratham picks it up and scores after he runs it in for 19 yards.
He came inside too. It wasn't like he came from all the way around the end to block. He came inside somewhere.
So an even 12 minutes on the clock. Appalachian with the football. Chip Hooks cuts it up for a gain of 5 yards. Now let's go down on the sideline. Mark Martin has a guest standing by.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. I'm joined by Dr. Bucky Wagner, the athletic director at Georgia Southern University. And Bucky, I always like to talk with you about the beginning of this football program at Georgia Southern. What great success, but kind of mind-boggling that it all began just back in 1982.
Well, we just have had a lot of great help in South Georgia, and of course we had Irk Russell, who just brought us immediate credibility, and just everybody in South Georgia got behind us. We got a lot of good players down there, and we've had a lot of fun with the football program.
How important is it for a 1AA football program to play a 1A school? Marshall, of course, played North Carolina State earlier today. Early this season, you guys played Miami and made a very good showing for yourself.
Well, we love it. I mean, our kids really like the chance to go down and play in the Orange Bowl. Our fans love to just see how we're going to play against those folks, and we like to do it at least once a year, just just for our fans and our players, and it's just it's an extra treat for them, and yeah, it's just, you can't say anything more than that.
First year in the Southern Conference, and so far I know everyone's enjoying it.
Well, as long as we keep going in this game, and they just fumbled, and I hope we got it, and we'll really enjoy it.
All right, Bucky, good seeing you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Dr. Bucky Wagner, the athletic director of Georgia Southern, back upstairs to Kevin and Jeff.
And the Eagles do have it. Darian Dawson recovers the fumble, but what a hit by Rob Stockton. Watch 14 come into the picture.
Here you see him, the safety really comes up and lowers the boom on Scott Satterfield. Alex Mash coming inside out too. Nowhere for Scott Satterfield to go. Well defensed that time by Georgia Southern.
It's amazing that Satterfield was able to get up from this one. He took it right under the chin.
Stockton had a big interception last week. It led to that win over Western Carolina.
Misdirection. Dupree throws out in the flat, and boy, I tell you what, I don't know if Dupree turned his ankle over on that play, but he could barely move on that play. We'll see if Charles Bostic comes out. Here comes the training staff, and I'm sure we will see Charles Bostic.
He's been fighting that since early in the first quarter, and especially difficult moving to his left as a quarterback.
Well, but you see, nobody ever touched him. So they're going to go over and they'll check on Joe Dupree. But in Boone, North Carolina, we've got a score, 17-14. Georgia Southern leads it. Don't go away. We've got a good football game.
Sports South's College Football Blitz features the ACC Game of the Week.
Well, they're dancing here in Boone, North Carolina, the Mountaineer and the Eagles. With 10:46 to go in the third quarter, you see the count. Georgia Southern leading it 17-14. Joe Dupree has gone off the field, but really Tim Stowers has a luxury because he can bring Charles Bostic in, very well-respected quarterback.
Very similar type quarterbacks. He's 10-7 as a starter, 2 years for Georgia Southern, and beaten out by Joe Dupree in the spring.
It looks like as Bostic gets big yardage down to the 15-yard line. Almost looked like Charles Bostic and Joe Dupree just changed jerseys because they play exactly the same. A gain of 16 yards. Jamie Coleman made the stop for Appalachian.
Well, it's a tough turnover for Appalachian State and a good turnover for Georgia Southern. They've capitalized on special teams, and this is a play they feature today. The lead block coming in on Brent David and Charles Bostic just slipping up the middle. They've run this play 4 or 5 times with great success.
First man, James Williams, and Williams down to the 10-yard line. Muscles his way for a gain of 5 yards.
You know, a lot of option teams just run zone blocking. That's man on man or scoop blocking between 2 guys alongside each other, guard a tackle or a guard in the center. Georgia Southern does a lot of intricate things with their offensive line. They pull onside linemen, they pull backside linemen, they trap with it, they fold block between the center and a guard. They make it look a little bit different. It's a very varied looking offense rather than just the wishbone as people remember it when it first came out under Emery Ballard.
Georgia Southern wants a timeout. A new quarterback in, Charles Bostic, wasn't quite sure of what he wanted to do, so he'll go over and talk it over. We'll step out with 9:35 to go, 17-14. There's a little Mountaineer. Right now her team is down 17-14 with 9.5 minutes to play here in Boone, North Carolina. We're in the 3rd quarter. And Georgia Southern with a 2nd down and 5 from the 15-yard line. Charles Bostic has come in, the junior from Thomasville, Georgia, 6 foot, 192 pounds. There you see the numbers. Only thrown the ball 7 times this year, but he will try it here. Cuts it up at the 5, at the goal line. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Bostic comes in and lights a fire under this Eagle offense. And we've got a new score, 23-14.
Well, you see Charles Bostic. He's looking like he's going to pass, but it's a run. Great blocking here. Excuse me, James Williams, Isaac Farrell, number 70. This is a run all the way, I think, after a period of time. They're picking somebody out and blocking. Isaac Farrell on Jamie Coleman and James Williams leading up through the hole to create a nice hole for Charles Bostic.
And Reed Haley kicks it through. So 9:29 to play in the 3rd quarter. We have got a new score, 24-14. Georgia Southern by 10. Now this is another one of those times when Appalachian really gut check time. They need to come back and put together a drive here.
Well, the block punt and then the fumble back to back on your first 2 offensive series. You really haven't had a chance to establish very much in this 2nd half after playing a very solid first half. The important thing is to not let a game get out of perspective and not do something that maybe right now would jeopardize you. I like it when they would have gone 3rd and 1. Not right now. I think you got to be a little bit more cautious and conservative. Here you see Charles Bostic again. Isaac Farrell pulling in front of him, and he sees it, goes right for the goal line. Nice job of running because Appalachian State had 3 or 4 people over there led by Bender.
That's the 3rd quarterback touchdown today, as Satterfield has run for 1 and Dupree has run for 1. Now Charles Bostic gets in the running mode for the quarterbacks. Bostic takes in from 15 yards out. This one back through the back of the end zone. Let's go down field side to Mark Martin. Mark.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. I'm joined by Charlie Lyle, the Associate Commissioner of the Southern Conference. We've got a pretty good football game going here right now, the upper hand going to Georgia Southern.
Well, it was a very good football game in the beginning, first half, and into the 3rd quarter, and App State has had 5 punts blocked prior to this ball game and then had 1 block for a touchdown.
kind of change things a little bit.
You spend a lot of time coaching, Charlie, so you know about games like this, don't you?
Well, yeah, I did, and I know that everything being relatively equal, the kicking game can kill you if you're not careful, and it appears that was the thing that turned the tide here on App State today.
You've been on board with Wright Waters and Company now for several months, and it's been a very busy time. And we were talking before the game, big promotions program going right now for the Southern Conference that you're heavily involved in.
Yeah, the Southern Conference is like all the conferences in the country. You either move forward or you go backwards, and through the leadership of Wright Waters and the very good people that we have in the office of the Southern Conference, the Southern Conference will not stand still. It will move forward and get better and better and better in Division I AA football and all other sports, as a matter of fact.
All right. Certainly it has been a great addition with Georgia Southern joining this league.
No question. They've won 4 national championships. They were a tremendous addition to the Southern Conference, and we're excited about having them.
All right, Charlie, great seeing you as always, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you very much.
All right, Charlie Lyle, the Associate Commissioner of the Southern Conference, back to Kevin and Jeff.
Charlie Lyle, I love that tie. Got the Tabasco tie. 3rd down and 5. Big 3rd down for Appalachian. Satterfield rolling the pocket. Throwing across, and it's incomplete. Well, Jeff Vollmer had a chance at it, but Darius Dawson just separated him from the football.
And once again, Satterfield does a nice job of getting out here. This is tough to do. Everybody will tell you, right-handed quarterback rolling to his left. He's trying to wave people down. He's got Culmer right there. Now's the time to plant, maybe, and I keep running. Just plant and sit and fire and deliver the ball.
Here we go again, Will Burkett. You got to be, and now we don't have enough people on the field as Appalachian runs another guy out onto the field. Burkett did a good job saying, hey, don't snap it yet. We only got 10 on the offensive line. This time Georgia Southern will play back for the return. Here comes Dawson, and Dawson is stuck as he gets the football. I think it was Coakley down on the coverage for Appalachian, but Dawson never got a chance to get anything going. It was a punt of 49 yards and only a return of 7. So 7:56 to play in the 3rd quarter. Georgia Southern leads it by 10. Appalachian defense needs to stop here. And the Appalachian defense has done a good job today. It's just been a matter of the special teams have really been so much to the advantage of Georgia Southern that the defense for Appalachian on a couple drives just didn't stand a chance.
That and the fact in the first half, the 2 interceptions, they only got 3 points out of them. The 2 big turnovers that they got from Georgia Southern.
Bostic eludes one man, went ahead for a gain of 3 yards. Another one of those plays. Dexter Coakley makes the tackle, a freshman from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Only a gain of 3, but Dawson could very well have lost 3 on the play as well.
Should have been a loss. Mark Ivy in the backfield right at the get-go, right standing there looking at Charles Bostic, and just doesn't make the play. And you'll hear that more and more. It's like a buzzword anymore among coaches. Players making plays. Make a play. That's the only thing that they're looking for now out of athletes is guys who will make plays offensively, defensively.
2nd down. Bostic again on the option. And Bostic maybe a gain of 1 there. And guess who? Dexter Coakley. Well, let's go down onto the field. Mark Martin stands by.
Kevin and Jeff, it is still Bostic in there, quarterback for Georgia Southern, and the word on Joe Dupree right now is strained ligaments in his right knee. He took a shot right before the half, and they were working on him at halftime, and then came up limp there again here in this 3rd quarter. So they're going to keep him out right now, and they'll have no more a little bit later on. But right now, Charles Bostic is the man for Georgia Southern. Back upstairs.
You're right about that. Whenever you see a guy putting ice on something, that usually means it's going to be hard to come back in. Once you put the ice on it, it's going to stiffen up a little bit.
In this weather especially, this temperature has dropped quite dramatically since we came here earlier today. I think they want to save him a little bit too. Bostic's doing a good job for him right now.
On 3rd down and 5, Bostic rolling the pocket, looks to run. Bostic will be very close to a 1st down. This is going to depend on a spot. I think he's got the 1st. And you know, when you get Bostic out there, you've got to keep him honest as far as playing the pass defense. But I mean, he's a guy that you just about sure that he's going to run the ball. He's only thrown it 7 times all season.
Well, they've had great quarterbacks in the past. You're looking at Charles Bostic in here. He's making them honor. He gets a great block from James Williams on Di Bernardino, and is able to get it out of bounds. But in the past, with fellows like Tracy Ham, Raymond Gross pulling the quarterback spot for this offense, this is the kind of people they're looking for to run this offense. It's not as simple as the old wishbone.
Bostic again on first down, first man, nowhere to go. James Williams ran right in. I think it was Sikorsky and Mark Ivy. Ivy got to him first. Sophomore from Collinsville, Virginia. And Sikorsky, a senior, finished him off along with Brent David.
Sikorsky, a very fine football player for Appalachian State, was second team of preseason All Southern Conference defense, a senior here, and has played with Rico Mack and Avery Hall. I think some other great players they've had on defense that have graduated. Makes a difference a little bit. He's now playing with a much younger defensive lineman, but the leader on this defensive line.
Bostic on the keeper will lose 5, but just like that, the face mask, Appalachian makes the play. But on the other hand, they don't make the play. Joe DiBernardo got a hand on the face mask after the loss of 5. And a long third down coming up, or maybe it was Sikorsky that got a hand in there.
Yeah, Sikorsky's out there shaking his head. And listen, it wasn't me. It wasn't intentional. It was just an accident. It was only there for a second.
He said, we're only going to walk it off 5 yards.
This is tough. He makes a nice read, a nice play, and he just gets his hand up around there. And as he's falling and other guys are pushing him, it catches Charles Bostic's face mask.
Yard, face mask, get the defense, 5 yards previous spot.
So instead of going into a third down and 10 situation, Georgia Southern will have it second down and 5. That's a big play right there. So second down, 5 yards to go for the first. Bostic wants to throw it downfield, looking for Dawson, and it's incomplete. Good coverage, step for step, by Jamie Coleman, the sophomore out of Laurinburg, North Carolina.
And nice job by the officials, too, not to give an interference call on something like that. They bumped. Jamie Coleman bumped, but maybe it was Dexter Dawson who made the move more up the field and impeded Jamie Coleman's route there. And incidental contact, no call.
It really didn't affect the pattern on either side.
Ball overthrown, well overthrown.
So now a third down. Long 5, call it third down and 6 for the first down. Officials want to get something straight. Now they're going to go back and huddle up again. You think Dexter Dawson is saying, come on, we've already called the play one time. This gives you the idea that Dexter Dawson's going to get the football. He says, don't change the play in the huddle again. Bostic rolling the pocket left. Brent David is there for Appalachian. That's a guy that just makes plays, like you said, from High Point, North Carolina.
Well, he's been a little bit quiet this second half. We haven't seen it, but he runs by Joey Cushion's block. James Williams turns late. He's got some quicks. He flashes as a linebacker and sideline to sideline. Real fine football player.
There's Don Blue back deep to receive the punt. High hanger, and Blue will call for a fair catch and make it at the 14-yard line. So 86 yards away is where Appalachian will send their offense out onto the field after the 40-yard punt. The fair catch by Don Blue. They're going to have to get some things going here. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. They trail it by 10 as Georgia Southern leads it 24-14. Bostic has done a good job on the Georgia Southern side. Really, Dupree goes out. Georgia Southern hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, they're looking for that quarterback rollout, but we haven't seen hooks get wide lately.
Okay, here's Scott Satterfield and company on first down. This is the first man through, Johnny Smith, and Johnny Smith finds the going easy as he gets ahead for a gain of 7 yards. Check it, it wasn't Johnny Smith, it was Damon Scott, freshman from Cedar Grove, North Carolina, on his first play of the game. Damon Scott showed a little burst there, didn't he?
I think if you look at this Appalachian State team, you got to remember that there's 17 freshmen on their two-deep roster, and I believe those are all true freshmen, so they're playing a lot of young people.
2nd down and 4. This is Chip Hooks. And Hooks gets out close to 1st down yardage. He needed 4. The line to make was the 25-yard line as we count down to 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. With Jeff Van Note, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. Glad you could be with us this afternoon on Sports South. Mark Martin handling things down on the sideline. An official's timeout as they're going to bring in the chains and check it. 24-14, Georgia Southern leads the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Stretch him out and give him the 1st down, says Ron Buckner, the referee.
And still a lot of time left for Appalachian State. They only need 3 really on a drive, or else at least establish field position as their defense stiffened last time, but do not do anything to get too far out of character.
First man again, Damon Scott.
Well, I didn't exactly mean that.
You got a little conservative there, Coach. Meaning Jeff Van Note. Not talking about Jerry Moore, would never question that.
It's been tough running up in the middle for the most part today. They had a little flash with Damon Scott there in that first play, but not a lot of room.
Immediately following today's game, Tennessee Chattanooga takes on VMI. That one should be a good one as more college football continues on Sports South. Southern Conference style. Chip Hooks was headed north and took a quick detour south thanks to the defense of Georgia Southern. Alex Mash led the way for Georgia Southern. Also Michael Morris in on that play for the Eagles. And now a 3rd down situation coming up.
Distinct change in style of the offense from the first half when Appalachian State was pulling their guards, pulling their backside tackle, getting some angles and trying to go wide and let their backs look for a little bit of a seam. Right now they've been just trying to run between the tackles without success.
Big 3rd down coming up. Chip Hooks. And Hooks not even close to the 1st down, and a great defensive play by Scott Davis, a junior from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Well, Chip Hooks does a nice job of catching this pass, and you have to feel that Satterfield was intending him to go all the way, but he never gives himself a chance to make a move. Doesn't seem like he gathers himself to make a good enough move on Davis. So they'll give credit to Davis. He just stayed in place.
Will Burkett to kick it away. Here comes Georgia Southern again, and he just gets it away. He's going to get a great roll. This is going to be an outstanding punt as it goes inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. A 79-yard punt. That's how slim a margin it is between success and disaster.
He does a good job, though, of pulling that ball down. That's a high snap there. And he gets it off. It's a line driver, but a line drive spiral. Look at this high. He jumps. Nice job of pulling it down and getting rid of the ball.
Got rid of it in a hurry, and I correct myself. It was a 68-yard punt. But the real key is the fact that it's back on the 5-yard line. And now the field position, which in this entire second half has been all played in Appalachian State's part of the field. Finally, they get it down in the other end, and Georgia Southern has to work from the shadow of their own goalpost. And Bostic will be the man working with it as he gets it out near the 10-yard line. The one thing about it, when your quarterbacks are as active as Georgia Southern's are right now, they take a beating.
Yeah, they've got to be a fairly tough individual. They're going to carry the ball a lot, and if you notice when you read Georgia Southern statistics about their quarterbacks, they talk about their rushing yardage, so much minus yardage. And these aren't sacks from passes. These are tackles for losses as they run this option a lot of times. So it takes a lot out of them, both physically and certainly a lot away from some of the stats they've got.
This time they hand it off to James Williams. And Williams plows ahead for a couple more. It's going to bring up another 3rd down situation. Georgia Southern playing it close to the vest, deep in their own territory. Here's a guy who's had a rough afternoon, let me tell you. Will Burkett The 68-yard punt was his career long, but he was, inches away from having his second punt blocked today.
It's got to be a very smooth operation. The snap, the catch, the punt, but also timed up with the blocking and recognition by the blocking front what's going on.
Big third down. Third down and 4. Bostic will be short. Appalachian defense has held. William Peebles, the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, in to make the stop, and Georgia Southern will have to punt it away.
Here you can see William Peebles coming from behind, but it's Dexter Coakley, the young linebacker on the front side, that's there to play the option pitch, play the quarterback, making the tackle.
Well, we are through 3 quarters. Stay with us. We've got a 10-point ball game. We'll be back to Boone for the 4th quarter in just a moment. 10-point ball game is a fresh 15 on the clock for the 4th quarter of play. Georgia Southern leads it by 10, but Appalachian's defense has been outstanding here in this 3rd quarter.
Sure, you feel the momentum shift with the punt block and then the fumble recovery and then jumping out 10 points ahead, and then Appalachian State makes 2 nice defensive stands.
And should get it back in good field position here. Don Blue from the 43-yard line. Don Blue inside Eagle territory down to the 46-yard line. And for the first time in a while, Appalachian has a positive play, a 13-yard return, and no flags. They have had some good plays, but penalties have hurt them here in the second half. Mark Martin stands by on the sideline.
Guys, there is a drainage ditch located next to Georgia Southern's practice facility in Statesboro that the legendary Irk Russell labeled Beautiful Eagle Creek. Now, a road game ritual is to bottle some water from that ditch and bring it on the road with them, and then the Friday practice before the game, they take the water and they sprinkle it from one end of the field to the other. So that's what they did last night here at Kidd Brewer Stadium, and they say it is to bring them good luck. Well, right now luck seems to be on their side, but there's still 1 quarter of football to be played here in Appalachian State University's home field. Back upstairs.
I don't know how long they've been doing that, but if they've been doing it long, it's been very successful. 4 national championships. Since Georgia Southern revived their program in 1982, they have won 76% of their games. That's amazing.
I think some of that playing and coaching helped a lot, too, other than just that water.
Satterfield completes it to Kevin Burton. And Burton has it for the first down. There you go. That's not very conservative on a 2nd down and 2. You could go ahead and go for the first down, but they aired it out. Kevin Burton made the catch.
Nice job by Satterfield. He's been doing this all day, either the naked boot. Here he gets a little bit of a play, razzle-dazzle reverse, and hides the ball. But look at Mike. He knows Michael Morris is going to right behind him, and he's got to find somebody. But look at Kevin Burton now down here, though. 1 foot. He makes sure that 1 foot drags in and then reaches out to grab the ball. Great reception. He's had a couple big ones today for him.
Appalachian on the move. Chip Hooks plows inside the 20-yard line. A gain of 4 yards for the big guy. Chip Hooks, 5'7", 155 pounds. I say the big guy. He's big to this ball club, to this offensive team, but only at 5'7", but he plays with a lot of heart. From Decatur, Georgia.
Where they're still running between the tackles this half. Georgia Southern has probably widened out their ends a little bit, but Appalachian State has kept it between the tackles with their running attack.
Satterfield to throw, complete. Don Blue. Blue turns the corner at the 10. He's out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Folks, that was all Don Blue. A gain of 16 yards on a simple crossing pattern.
Blue's been a little bit quiet today, but it's just a short drop, 3-step drop. He's looking for Blue all the way underneath, and then Blue does it all himself. Runs away from Paul Carroll. Runs away from Brandon Roselle here. Finally, Brandon catches up with him down here. Nice effort by Don Blue.
So Appalachian knocking on the door. Full house backfield from the 3-yard line. Hooks gets outside. He'll talk to him as they cross the goal line. Chip Hooks from 3 yards out as the cannon sounds. And we have got a 4-point ball game.
Tight goal line. They fired their corner, Francis Williams. He doesn't come up with the play. Number 2, he fires in here and he's just caught inside, does not come up with the play. Hooks is able to get it outside.
The PAT is perfect, and we have got a new score in Boone, North Carolina. With 12:53 to play, our score, Georgia Southern 24, Appalachian 21. We'll be back with more in just a moment. They're going to need those umbrellas if Appalachian scores anymore. With the way that cannon rocks this place, it's going to send the
reverberate.
Yeah, the clouds will be letting loose with some rain. Back deep is Chris Wright. As Appalachian's defense really can get a lot of credit for that last score, because defense and a fortunate punt that went for 68 yards. Appalachian State has really shown what they can do if they don't have to use their special teams. Last time, though, on the punt return by Don Blue, that really set that play up.
Yeah, you got to use every part of your football team and every part of the game. Field position is a big part of the game, and Appalachian State did that with their defense, with the punt return, and then a couple of big plays from Satterfield to Blue.
Chris Wright, 3 yards deep, takes a knee. So they bring it out to the 20-yard line. And watch as Chip Hooks goes around in, and he will talk to them from there. He knew nobody was going to catch him. At 5 yard for 5 plays, 43 yards. The big play, though, really, not only was it Don Blue's punt return to set that thing up, but a 13-yard pass that Don Blue took down to the 3-yard line. And now Charles Bostic, the junior from Thomasville, back out, and he hands this one off to Marlo Warthen. And Warthen had good running room, finally runs into his own man, Darren Willis. And he and Willis both go down after a gain of about 9 yards. Will Robinson will get credit for the tackle. Check it, it's about a 7-yard gain. It's 2nd down and 3 coming up.
Counter play off of the option. He's even out in front of Jamie Glover, the pull-in tackle, but he runs over Matt Stevens, and a nice job of bringing him down, or he would still be rambling.
On 2nd down, I think we may have a 3rd down and short coming up. It was a 2nd down and short, but I'm not sure. Sikorsky was there along with William Peebles to stop the ball carrier James Williams. We'll see.
Another young right tackle, the young offensive tackle for Georgia Southern, the freshman Jamie Glover, doesn't get the seal block on the backside on Peebles.
Well, this is a huge play. Fans are on their feet. 3rd down and 1 is coming up for Georgia Southern. The defense is encouraging them. Charles Bostic has been in this situation before. I don't know if he has it.
No, I don't.
Terry Lester got the call. Brent David was standing in the hole, and we will see.
I don't believe he got it.
The referee has his fist in the air as if to indicate 4th down, and he does. They won't even bring the sticks out.
Well, here's an Appalachian State team that was giving up 40% on 3rd down conversions coming into this game, and 3 nice defensive stands.
Bill Thatcher will kick it away. He's a senior from Statesboro. Thatcher gets away a beauty, taken by Don Blue at the 25-yard line, and Blue will lose 3 on the return. Good coverage downfield for Georgia Southern. A 55-yard punt down for Georgia Southern was Travis Taylor. We'll take a timeout. Back to Boone in just a moment.
The Mountaineers try to withstand the attack of the Thundering Herd. Live next Saturday on Sports South.
We have got a good one here in Boone, North Carolina. 24-21, a little bit closer, I'm sure, than Tim Stowers would like, but Jerry Moore says it's just fine with him. Hooks ahead for a gain of a couple, give him 3. Second down and 7 is coming up.
Boy, it's so important for Appalachian State to not make any negative plays here, just to keep it positive. A lot of time left in this ball game, just down 3. Overtime procedure in the Southern Conference. They just have to keep field position, not lose field position at Georgia Southern, which they gained earlier.
Second down, Satterfield will go down. Back at the 20-yard line. Big number 99, Alex Mash, big senior from Thomasville, Georgia.
And we're going to keep him quiet all day long. Chad Groover, the center. Alex Mash comes outside him and then comes back inside of him, swims underneath him inside. A quick move on some fan protection by that offensive line of Appalachian State. That's his second sack today. I think he's going to get credited for 1 in the first half. 9 on the season.
Well, the best thing that Appalachian could have come out of that was the fact that it was a quick 2-step drop, and they couldn't have lost a whole lot of yardage on it. But now Satterfield will take a timeout, and we will step out with him. A timeout on the field, the timeout in Boone. 9:26 to play, 24-21 is our score.
The Mountaineers try to withstand the attack of the Thundering Herd. Live next Saturday on Sports South.
Big guys up front, Alex Mash and Walter Flowers getting it done for Georgia Southern as they lead at 24-21 on a cool evening here in Boone, North Carolina. Third down and 10. Satterfield throws complete to Gamma out at the 40-yard line. Now he fumbles it. Here comes Darius Dawson. And Dawson will run it back with a huge play for Georgia Southern. Gamma just flat had the ball stripped from him. It was a gain of 19, and Darius Dawson picked up the football and ran it back 6 yards. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Well, they took that timeout to discuss the play they wanted, and a little fake maybe holds the linebackers, but Gamma's got a lot of room between the safeties and the linebackers. Dawson ends up with it, but it was whoever tackled him. Was that Hitson?
Yeah, Hitson was the one that stripped him.
Alton Hitson, who makes the tackle and the pull out of the ball.
So down to the 30-yard line.
So important not to have a negative play, and here you have a positive play, a big first down, and then the turnover occurs.
We're under 9 minutes to go at officials' timeout. They stopped the clock. I don't think Appalachian called a timeout, did they?
No, Kenny Bright,
okay.
Cornerback was injured. Very nice block put on him. A low block, and by Marlo Warfin, and he's limping off the field a little bit.
Well, that's a huge turnover. As Jerry Moore's team has played very hard today. Tim Stowers' team comes in decided favorites, but they've had their hands full. Georgia Southern leads at 24-21. Bostic on the option. Bostic turns the corner to the 25 to the 24-yard line. Big gainer on second down, and a huge third down is coming up for Georgia Southern.
You talk about quick, choppy feet a running back has, or a quarterback in this case, because that's what Bostic is. He was able to chop those feet right out from the grasp of Sikorsky.
Look at that score. Tennessee leading the Tide 17-9. And there's a first down run on the big third down near the 20-yard line. James Williams, a senior, 200 pounds. He's only 5'9". That'll be enough for an Eagle first down. They'll move the sticks.
That could make Auburn maybe the only undefeated team in the Southeastern Conference at this stage. Auburn can't win it. That's right. He's done a great job this year.
So 22-yard line. We've got a great ball game going here. They hand it off, quick hitter, James Williams down to the 15-yard line. You pick up 7 on first down. Boy, it really widens your scope of play calling, doesn't it, when you get down into a 2nd down and 2, 2nd down and 3, that type of situation.
And where they ended up with field position. This defense had played so well in the previous 3 series, and now finds itself rocked back after that fumble recovery.
James Williams just right at the gut again. Larry Dennis, Jr. from Palatine, Illinois, was the first Appalachian State Mountaineer to get to him. We'll see where they mark the football. It's going to be another 3rd down situation coming up. And now Georgia Southern, really you can, you look up at the clock and all of a sudden you look over there and there's only 6.5 minutes left to play in this game. Georgia Southern trying to eat up some time right now and take advantage of this turnover.
Tim Stowers got a feel, though, that maybe 3 points is not enough.
3rd down and 2. Crowd on their feet. Bostic loses his. We'll see if he's close to the 1st down. No question he's close. We'll see if he got it.
It's all in the mark, all where they figure the ball was when he touched. Because he was sideways.
You're also in a position here where it will be 4th down. Now, are they going to send? They will send the field goal unit on. You see Bostic tripped up.
There's Sikorsky again. They've been trying to trap him with Isaac Farrell, the right guard, pulling, and Sikorsky missed him in that early 1st down on that series. That time he was able to get him.
Haley from 30 yards out. Reed Haley, plenty of distance, and Reed Haley splits the uprights and makes this one a 6-point ball game with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to play. And once again, Georgia Southern this time taking advantage of a Mountaineer mistake. That time it was a matter of Gamma completing their Gamma making the catch for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State on a long 3rd down. He had the 1st down yardage. Then he was stripped of the football. Darius Dawson ran it back and set up Georgia Southern. Now, Appalachian's defense has been playing very well the entire ballgame. You can only ask so much of your defense.
Yeah, App State has done a magnificent job this 2nd half after that block punt, falling down 7 there and then 3 more after the fumble recovery and going behind 10. They've really bowed their backs and done a pretty good job of keeping that Georgia Southern offense away from their goal line, saving 3 here and giving themselves one more chance here. Well, maybe even 2 chances with 5:43, depending on how the timing goes. 5:43, 6 points behind. They've given their team at least 1 chance to win this football game.
Jerry Moore's team 1-5. Looking for their 2nd conference win. See the drive. They didn't have to go far. It took 7 plays. When you go 20 yards, only 20 yards, and it takes you 7 plays, you know you run a lot of time off the clock, and they did. 3:27 off the clock. We're down to 5:45 to play, as Appalachian better get on the football, and they do. I'll tell you what, Dexter Coakley is probably going to get talked to when he comes back over the sideline. Because Dexter, my man, whether it's in the end zone or not, it's a free football, right?
That's the 2nd time he's turned away from the football. Somebody else got over and down it for him. But what do you expect? He's a linebacker most of the day, a starting linebacker, and they've got him returning kickoffs. He can fly.
So Appalachian with 5:43 on the clock will take it from the 20-yard line. They start 80 yards away with Chip Hooks, the tailback, Johnny Smith, the fullback, and Scott Satterfield under center. Play action. Satterfield is dropped for a 2-yard loss. Alex Mash, the senior from Thomasville, Georgia. We said he's been quiet all afternoon, but when it comes down to crunch time, the monster Mash has been there.
Yeah, quiet 3 sacks that he has today in the early game against Citadel. It was Alex Mash, Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Week, with 3 sacks. This is a chance, I think, when you see Satterfield play a little bit more, get some more experience, he'll learn to dump that ball or try to get outside a little bit quicker and get out of bounds.
crossing the 5-minute mark. Satterfield's going to look for Gamma, and it is incomplete. Gamma just couldn't hold on, and now a 3rd down and 12 coming up for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State.
Well, you got to like this young quarterback, though. He's shown a lot of nerve. I mean, and moving to his left a lot today. That's counter to what a right-hander does, but you see him wave Gamma there. I think if Gamma would have followed it a little more, he wanted him more towards the sidelines. He wouldn't have had to throw it so low, maybe. Maybe he could have gotten him to lead it more towards the out of bounds.
Third down, 12. Satterfield. And it's incomplete, intended for Gamma. And Appalachian State will have to punt it away with 4:45 to play here in the ball game.
Might not have had enough time, felt a little bit of the heat coming from Morris, and might have unloaded that before he was ready because the pattern was breaking open.
Well, Jerry Moore is going to call on his defense one more time. And Burkett punts it away. Look out. Knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line was Brandon Roselle. Roselle with an excellent return of 15 yards, and Georgia Southern again gets good field position to start off this drive, and now it's going to be a matter of handing it off to the big guy and letting him run a little time off the clock. Watch Brandon Roselle bounce to the outside, doesn't quit on it, retains his balance, and finally gets knocked out of bounds.
Well, here where the clock becomes Georgia Southern's ally, right here with 4:32 in great field position.
You're going to see a lot of that right there. Hand off to the big guy, and he's down to the 12-yard line. A gain of 30 yards for James Williams. You would have thought Appalachian State would have been looking for the fullback right up the middle, trying to run some time off the clock.
Franklin gets a nice block on Ivy, and there's a big hole up the middle. Brent David is taking himself out. He's playing outside option and not covering the middle that time. James Williams just hits it.
He did hit the hole quickly. Bostic, guarantee you he won't throw the football, and he's down at the 8-yard line, and Appalachian State wants to call a timeout. Jerry Moore and his defensive coordinator, Ruffin McNeil, frantically signaling to call timeout, and they do with 4 minutes left. Now you're also in a situation here, let's play what if. Really, Georgia Southern, of course you want to stick it in the end zone, because you come away with the field goal here, and you force it. You forget about what the score is. You look at how many times Appalachian State is going to have to score, and that would make it a 2-score ball game right now.
Yeah, field goal, any kind of score here really puts Appalachian State in a bad situation. They need to somehow force a turnover, but at the same time, you have to kind of spread yourself out maybe to do that. You got to take some risk here on defense, and it might open something up inside as it did for James Williams.
Well, those folks don't believe it can be done, but I guarantee you that man does right there. Ruffin McNeil, the defensive coordinator, has seen his defense do a good job this afternoon.
Wants one more effort out of them. They have done a nice job, especially this second half after falling behind 10 points on that blocked punt and the fumble.
Right at 11,000 on hand this afternoon. On a hazy fall afternoon here in Boone, North Carolina. And I could work for the Chamber of Commerce. I can't get over how pretty this town is. This is really a beautiful part of the country.
Well, we won't take any shots at Houston.
In Brewer
Houston,
Stadium.
Texas.
You see the rain coming down. I'm not even going to acknowledge that.
We've come a long way for this game. This is a great time of the year up here. If you've had a chance to drive around and see all the ski advertisements, a lot of people don't realize what great skiing there is in the Carolinas.
I've had plenty of time to drive around over the last 24 hours, trust me. On the misdirection, Marlo Warthen inside the 10-yard line, stays in bounds, and again, App State will call a timeout. Appalachian State, well, I think it was their last time out. That's right. I'm not sure if they realized that they were down to no timeouts left. It's a 3rd down and 6 will be coming up for Georgia Southern. I'll give you an idea of what it looks like around here. And, that's everywhere right there. Not a hotel room to be found within, what, 75 miles of this town, because this is the peak weekend that the people come out and watch the leaves. I'm not from this part of the country, so I'm amazed with it.
It's a great tradition in this part of the country. People coming up, and they turn here first, obviously, up in the mountains. So you got a lot of southern people coming up from Georgia and Florida and whatnot to who an annual ritual. They do this, or just to look at the beautiful colors. And I enjoyed them today as I was driving up through the mountains.
Part of the student body on hand for this one. They have seen their ball club play very well this afternoon, but right now it looks like Georgia Southern has the upper hand as they lead at 27-21 with just under 4 minutes to play. 3rd down, 6 yards to go for a 1st down. Georgia Southern can get a 1st down inside the 1-yard line of Appalachian State. On the quarterback draw. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. For the 3rd time today, a Georgia Southern quarterback has scored on a quarterback draw.
Well, that's one that you needed to be looking for. That had to be, with the timeouts, that had to definitely be #1 on the hit parade, being as the success that they've had with it. And you see everybody got kind of balled up in the middle. People's caught inside and no linebackers to scrape.
And he's going to get flagged for that. He was happy about it. I tell you what, Charles Bostic done a good job since coming in to replace Joe Dupree.
He's had a little spark, and he was a starter for 2 years. Joe Dupree won this job after the spring and has done a decent job with this offense, but it's the defense and special teams that have been keeping Georgia Southern close and getting them to this point.
Georgia Southern appears to be that they will go to 4-1 in Southern Conference play, 5-2 overall. On the other side, for Appalachian State, they will go to 1-6 and drop to 1-3 in Southern Conference play. But like you said, Appalachian State with 17 freshmen on the 2-deep chart. That's unreal. 17 freshmen on the 2-deep chart. They're going to take their lumps this year, one of the byproducts of youth. But in a couple of years, if not next year, Appalachian State is going to be back to the same situation that they have grown accustomed to being.
Well, you got to grow with the young freshmen. Experience is the great equalizer. Satterfield looks like a fine-looking quarterback that they're going to be able to utilize. Chip Hooks is just a junior. He's got another year. Johnny Smith's got another year. His receivers, he loses Ray Gamma. Don Blue is junior, though, but Kevin Burton's back. He's got some weapons to work with on offense and a young offensive line. So you've got to let these guys play and get better at it, and they've acquitted themselves very well today.
Appalachian State should come away with good field position after the unsportsmanlike conduct called against Charles Bostic for that little Georgia two-step after the North Carolina two-step after the touchdown.
You can call it Georgia.
He's from Georgia.
He's Georgia, Thomasville, Georgia.
He was doing it in Boone, North Carolina, so it could go either way.
I'm sure he'll hear about that little dance. Of course, he hasn't had the chance to compete much this year with Joe Dupree, the signal caller.
And Dupree went out midway through the 3rd quarter with a strained right knee. It appeared to be his ankle, but they had the ice on the knee. So from that point on, Charles Bostic took the reins and did a good job scoring 2 touchdowns for Georgia Southern. Now they squib the kick, and Coakley should have let that one go out of bounds. And now Appalachian State, we talked about the youth, and you're going to have some mistakes when it comes to youth. And right there, Dexter Coakley just cost his ball club 27 yards. Instead of starting at the 35-yard line where they would have started if he'd let the ball go, they're going to start at their own 8. A lot easier to do from up here, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's right at the end of the game. Here's a guy who's played all day on defense and they're making tackles, and they're asking him to return kickoffs, a very unusual position for a linebacker. He's going to be a great football player here, though. True freshman who did some junior college work last year and came in here, and they expect high things from him.
Appalachian State will air it out, and it's complete. Chip Hooks caught the pass. He was hit immediately. I think Paul Carroll was the man who made the stop. No huddle offense as the clock runs under 3.5 minutes to play in this one. Satterfield again fires it complete to Gamma. Alton Hitson, the sophomore from Valdosta from Georgia, makes the tackle. A 20-yard pickup as Satterfield and Gamma hook up.
This is their 2-minute offense when they come out firing, and that's the same play that Gamma caught. Would have been a big first down, but the ball was stripped from him.
Satterfield steps up in the pocket, lets it go downfield. Gamma got behind his man and made the catch. To the 38-yard line. Boy, you got to step behind Brancis Williams, and had that ball been caught in stride, Brancis Williams, the defensive back, fell down. That'd have been 6, a 34-yard pickup.
Look at Satterfield, though. He steps up and he lofts the ball. This is a tremendous catch, though, by Gamma. Gamma's concentration. He's fallen down off his back foot and still able to pull the ball in.
Not to mention worrying about the sideline.
Just a great job. He's a good-looking receiver, Gamma. Well, we said at the top we thought they should pass more. They have passed more today, and they might be able to even pass more than this.
Satterfield again on first down. He throws on the quick end, looking for Don Blue. Darius Dawson is lucky he didn't come away with a little pass interference there.
It certainly looked like he gave him a little bit of a shove there, and nobody said anything to him as the ball was in flight.
Clock is stopped on the incompletion with 3 minutes and 1 second left in the ball game. 34-21. Jerry Moore's Mountaineers trail it by 13. This one complete. And down inside the 25-yard line is Nate Abraham, the junior from Charlotte, a gain of 8 yards. You see the clock. Appalachian State already up on the line of scrimmage. Satterfield has the first down, complete to Gamma. Gamma cuts it in to the 10-yard line, knock him down at the 11.
Hey, there's no quit in this Appalachian State team. They're coming right down the field. Satterfield's been on the money. He just steps back, 3-step drop. He picks out Gamma, putting a great move on Sean Austin and Jamie Coleman. Almost goes.
Nick Davis saved a touchdown. So Satterfield red hot on this drive. Satterfield across the middle, caught by Don Blue, and Blue is down at the 8-yard line. I'm not sure it was Scott Davis who latched on for dear life and pulled Don Blue down to the carpet. You know, the thing is, you got 2:15 left here. Put it in the end zone right now.
Well,
and maybe
plan.
we're a little premature in talking about the records.
The 10-point cushion was just not there. Here's this play. This is a play that Blue almost scored on in that other series, catching it underneath. He's got to throw it high, though, because he's getting some pressure on the backside.
That time, again, a good job by Scott Davis not letting Don Blue pick up any more than what he already did.
I'll tell you, the lowest percentage play in football, though, is the onside kick. And that's the one they're staring at coming up. And it is the toughest play to have any success with, but it always adds for a lot of excitement in a game. You know that the game's right at the wire with an onside kick.
Is it more onside kick? I think has to be probably more luck than skill than any other play in football as well.
Yeah, there's got to be a good measure of luck in it, but it's interesting to watch the different kickers, the skill they have of getting the ball to pop up or a roll or go a certain place.
Satterfield, quick drop. Satterfield, touchdown, Appalachian State.
Okay, Satterfield has he hasn't started the whole season. He's only started 3 games, but he's made this game exciting today. Georgia Southern's going to see this young man for the next few years. He's looking for the pass, yet he makes a decision. And when he makes a decision, he goes right for the end zone, just enough to get the ball over.
A 7-yard touchdown run by Scott Satterfield. Now they're going to go for 2. Check it. I'm sorry. They didn't give him the touchdown. We saw the officials raise their hands. They took it down to the 1-yard line. That's my mistake.
Heck, I saw the ball line over. They marked it where his knee was.
They marked him at the 1-foot line. And now a flag on this play. And the touchdown finally, the signal comes out, touchdown. So Satterfield making a 1-yard quarterback sneak. There's some folks up here in the booth looking at each other with their palms facing up saying, what's going on? But Satterfield takes it over from 1 yard out. So now a new ball game, 34-27. As Kyler Ferguson in to complete the point after. Still plenty of time left, 1:45. And Ferguson kicks it through, so a new score in Boone, North Carolina, where we have had plenty of it this afternoon. 34-28 to score. And it's a good thing those guys are just doing push-ups when Appalachian State scores. If not, they'd be in trouble right now. But you got to give credit. Well, that was a gutsy drive. Scott Satterfield leading the way. Ray Gamma with a couple of catches on that drive.
It was a good drive, and I think it's Jerry Moore is looking for some things from his football team. It's been inconsistent the first 6 games of the season, and now he comes here at home against a real fine Georgia Southern football team, and they gave themselves a good effort so far. They've missed on a couple of things. Once again, their punting game has failed them. The block punt, the high snap, and the punt, and that's something they're going to have to shore up. But I think they've seen a couple of their young players grow up today, especially at the quarterback position, and their defense. It rose up when it had to several times, 4 times at least in the second half.
Tim Stowers has got to be thinking, I got to get some folks out there on that front line that have some hands, and they do exactly that. Look at that. And we got to remember, too, they had to go 92 yards after a mental mistake on the kickoff receiving team. They had to go 92 yards. They did it in 9 plays. Maybe those folks that left early left a little too early.
Well, overcoming adversity is a lot what this game's all about, and you can point to some of those positive things in the film when you look at it, and hopefully you can correct the mistakes you made. But one glaring weakness for App State all year long has been their punting game.
Now look at this, a different twist, as there was a penalty on the touchdown against Georgia Southern. Appalachian State will benefit that as the 15-yard penalty is marked off out to midfield, which is where they will kick the onside kick from.
I wonder if he's got a hook shot to the left where he's got 4 guys, or does it have to go to the right?
Alan Gwynn. And Georgia Southern's got it. Georgia Southern will be able to run this time off. 1:44. That was Danny Britt, backup strong safety, who was in there. Now that's what you call a suicide squad there, as far as having to feel those things.
The hands team. That's you have to have some hands to be on this team. Does a pretty good job of the onside kick. Alan Gwynn gets it the Sunday hop here. Maybe somebody should be diving right there. The first guy, and I think 34, who takes on a blocker, but that might be his responsibility as it's taught to him. But if he dives, that ball's across the line. Chad Gore's got a shot at that.
Well, Bostic not going to take a knee. They will hand it off. Actually, they're going to just run with it. Bostic will fall down, and time will run down. Now, if we have it right up here in the booth, Appalachian State cannot stop the clock.
Yeah, that's right. Most teams have what they call the Z-back formation, and where they just stand in and huddle around the quarterback and allow the clock to kind of run out, take the penalties. You can take the penalty if you want, or else you can run another play.
Counted down to 70 seconds left.
Boy, this is the most disappointing thing for a defense. Played hard all day long and now have no way to stop the clock. Very little chance of getting the football back for your offense.
I want to thank Jason Dumas, who did the spotting up here in the booth tonight, and Bubba Taylor handling the statistics. Our babysitter, Joan Crawford. Great job by all. Down to 40 seconds. And it's a third down coming up. They'll only have to snap it this time, and that will do it. Last play of the ball game. Bostic will fall on it. Appalachian State cannot stop the clock, but what a great effort by both of these ball clubs. Georgia Southern has done what they've been doing all year long. That is surviving. That's huge in football. They have been getting it done when they need to get it done, and Georgia Southern goes to 5-2, 4-1 in Southern Conference play. On the other side, the Appalachian Mountaineers go to 1-6 and 1-3 in conference play. Again, the final score, 34-28. Georgia Southern will be right back.
Every golfer knows the rule. Play the ball where.
Kevin Eschenfelder and Jeff Van Note back here in Boone, North Carolina, where Georgia Southern has done what they've needed to do, or what they've done all year long. That's nothing pretty, but just they got the job done.
Good, solid all-around performance. Once again, their special teams shined for them. I thought their offense picked it up today a little bit. Both Joe Dupree in the first half and certainly Charles Bostic. But give Appalachian State, they didn't quit. They're down 1-5. The season's not going anywhere for them. They hung in there and they played some solid football. Maybe they grew up a little bit today.
All right, so a good ball game from here in Boone. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment. Again, the final score, Georgia Southern wins it 34-28. We want to remind you, coming up next on Sports South, it's Tennessee Chattanooga and Virginia Military Institute. So for Jeff Van Note and all of us at Sports South, this is Kevin Eschenfelder saying so long from Boone, North Carolina.
We have